Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We're just about to get the show started. Going to be a good show today. I'm excited. You should be excited too. Well, before we get started here, just a reminder, head on over to canarycry.party. Make sure to follow us in multiple locations, and I highly recommend you sign up for our newsletter in which we send out an email right before every show, just letting you know we're going to go live, but it also includes all the sources for the show, which I highly recommend everybody have on hand. You can either follow along during the show, or if there's something during the show that sparks your interest, the source will be there in your email box to use as you'd like. There's also all sorts of other good information and art in those emails. Head on over to canarycry.party, sign up for the newsletter. You will be glad you did. Okay, other than that, just a heads up, the Bandcamp for the Canary Cry mixtape is going to be down for a few days. There's a correction going on a couple of the tracks. You can still listen to it on Spotify and the streaming options, but the Bandcamp will be down. All right, other than that, folks, buckle in, stay hydrated. Let's get this party started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape August 12th, 2022. This is episode 521. And today, just trumpet. And signing on from Out the Grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, podcasting live from California, here to bring you, and I don't have my notes ready. This is ridiculous. I've been waiting for this document with my notes ready, opened, and it's just not open. It's not opening. This is
you don't have it memorized.
I don't have it memorized, and so yeah, complete fail. So yeah, hi everybody.
Well, we're off to a great start. In that great start, I want to mention if you are I'm not sure if it made it onto the email. Oh, no. I was going to say, we mentioned last episode, we were going to make the link to the Harvard.edu index of mainstream media ownership available. This is a reference that you and I have used and will continue to use a lot because the ownership of the mainstream media networks speaks to, well, some very valuable things while trying to understand and analyze and deconstruct how the narrative is being presented. So we will include that in the show notes, and so you should definitely go check it out. Gons, today, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the beautiful media circus surrounding Trump continues. But we also got a lot of other great things. It's going to be a great show. You want to run down?
No, I want to do my intro over again.
Okay, well, take two.
Okay, so.
Okay, here we go. Take two. Everybody get energy up. Energy up. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gons, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena is nuclear. Nuclear.
Nuclear, not nuclear,
Hey.
nuclear.
Nuclear, yeah, not nuclear.
Which is which? I get a lot of flack on the internet for this, and to those critics of mine,
I'm pretty sure people say nuclear. People say nuclear, but it's nuclear.
Right, but what is the nuclear? That is of the nucleus, pertaining to the nucleus?
Yeah, the thing that goes boom, that has a lot of energy.
No, that's nuclear.
That's what I said. Nuclear
is the bomb. Nuclear is pertaining to the nucleus, like of a cell.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. Yeah. See, I was already confused. I thought you were referencing nuclear, not nuclear. Great start to the podcast.
Yeah, this is a great podcast.
New people are
Let me
probably
give you a
like,
rundown. Let's get back on track here.
Horrible. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, such negativity. All right, folks, we got a great show for you today. First of all, called it. Some of you already know this, but we'll let you know how once again we called it, baby. Then Flippy coming on up. And Flippy is threatening to not only take away the jobs of our children and lower skilled workers, but also our billionaires, like you guessed it, Elon Musk. Then, topic one, we will be breaking down the news, the newest news that is coming out about the Trump raid on Mar-a-Lago. The info continues to come out. Details upon details. Details have become also irrelevant. Some details have been debunked. Some details are true, and others just want you to think they're true. Then we'll be stopping by Meme School, folks. We got another update on Meme School. I know some of you don't want to go to Meme School, but it's for your own benefit. Then we'll be checking in with the beast system. How, indeed, is the beast system wriggling its way into our everyday lives? It'll be at your front doorstep earlier than you expected. Then we'll be checking in with the some of the unraveling, the unrolling, the unveiling of the updates about the upgrade to the IRS. Then, of course, Sinkholes everywhere. We'll be telling you some of the very interesting connections that these sinkholes popping up everywhere have to, just our everyday lives, as well as the ongoing descent into a dystopian future. A quick checkup on COVID, but don't worry, YouTube. We're going to stick around for that. We're going to keep YouTube around for that one. Then at the end of the show, some UFO news. But Gons, let's start out with our lead story.
Called it.
That's right. Called it once again, folks. You know, I'd like to say that it gets tiresome being right all the time, but that would be a lie. We're going to start out by heading on over to the LA Times. Last episode, we were covering some of the news coverage from Newsweek regarding the mole in the Trump camp that sort of gave all of the secret information to the FBI turned on Trump. Oh, no. And Attorney General Merrick Garland reportedly not knowing anything about the oncoming raid. Well, you go to lookout.co. This is being reported everywhere. The headline, Attorney General Garland, quote, personally approved Mar-a-Lago search, moves to unseal Trump records warrant. So there you go. The Newsweek article, as was reported in other mainstream outlets as well, included a top secret source, an anonymous source that was doing a lot of the reporting to Newsweek and other outlets, giving the deets, the secret details on the raid. But in that,
well, it wasn't entirely anonymous. The Newsweek paragraph that they edited, I have it here. The senior Justice Department source said so.
Yeah, well,
it's not
it was the
anonymous.
Anonymous source. It was an anonymous source from the Justice Department. Says that this is what we read on Wednesday. The senior Justice Department source says that Garland was regularly briefed on the Records Act investigation and that he knew about the grand jury and what material federal prosecutors were seeking. He insists, Gons, that Garland had no prior knowledge of the date and time of the specific raid, nor was he asked to approve it. Quote, I know it's hard for people to believe, says the official. But this, where's the other part? But this was a matter for the U.S. Attorney and the FBI. So now, why is this important? We knew that Merrick Garland would have had to personally approve the raid. You know, if you're raiding or just executing a search warrant on a former president, you don't do that without the very top dog signing off on this. It just would be sort of career suicide for whoever, did approve it. It would just be a total mess and possibly illegal. I'm not 100% sure on that part, but definitely the reporting from this anonymous Justice Department source saying that Merrick Garland would have nothing to do with this was erroneous and possibly just a full-on lie. Now, why does that matter? Well, we broke down some of the history between Garland and Trump from 2016 in, we got a source for this. We didn't have one last episode, so we brought one here for you. This was in usatoday.com on March 16th, 2016, and it says, GOP senators vow not to consider Garland to fill the Supreme Court vacancy. And this is when Barack Obama had an opportunity. Well, there was an opening in the Supreme Court, and he was trying to push through Merrick Garland like 8 months before the election. And this is just not done. If there is a current election for the president of the United States, you're not supposed to be making big decisions like, who gets to sit on the Supreme Court for their entire lifetime. Remember, it's a lifetime appointment. And the Republicans blocked it. And Merrick Garland, he'd put in his time with the Democratic Party. It was his turn to be rewarded for all his good work. But no, the Trump election and the Republicans supporting him blocked Merrick Garland. Now, luckily for Merrick Garland, Biden won the election, which means he could, they could reward him, but not with the Supreme Court lifetime appointment. But they did give him Attorney General, which is pretty good. And lo and behold, he uses his position as Attorney General to approve this raid on Mar-a-Lago. Now, one problem with this is in the Newsweek article, there were almost all the information given in the article was from this senior Justice Department source. So if the senior Justice Department source straight up lied or was so out of the loop that he thought in some sort of definitive way that Merrick Garland would have nothing to do with approving the raid of an ex-American president, well, then this senior Justice Department source is not a very good source. And what else in the article is equally as erroneous, or how much of it was actually true. There would be no way to tell. And the problem is this was an exclusive for Newsweek, and many other articles from the mainstream media were based on this reporting. Yeah. So it's basically straight up propaganda directly from the Justice Department, erroneous or lies that sort of wormed its way into mainstream reporting across the week last week.
Right. So you had just read what was originally there about the senior Justice Department source said that Garland was regularly briefed on the Records Act investigation. But
had no direct approval of it.
So they just pretty much completely took out everything after that sentence where it says he insists, though, that Garland had no prior knowledge. That's all just gone. They just took it out. And then they put an edit down here, a quote that mischaracterized Garland's role was deleted. Newsweek regrets the error.
Mischaracterized Garland's role. You mean they lied and said exactly the opposite?
They changed this edit too. I think the one I sent you yesterday, Basil, said something different. It was something like something about Garland spoke after the something or other. Let me try to pull it up here. But anyway,
they corrected the correction.
They corrected the correction. It's out of control. Right. A quote about Garland's role was deleted after the Attorney General himself addressed the issue. That's what they originally had here. Now it says they regret the error.
Yeah. So there you go. You know, if that, I mean, that sounded ludicrous on its face. There was no possible way that he would not have signed onto it or signed off on it. But whoever this Justice Department source was decided to make some pretty bold claims about Garland's involvement. And why is this important? Because Merrick Garland would have, I don't know if it's necessarily legally counts as a conflict of interest, but he's, something akin to that. I mean, this is retribution of the highest order for sabotaging his lifelong dream of becoming a Supreme Court justice that he could have, coasted on the rest of his life if it were not for Trump. And so there you go. It brings into question all of the original reporting from this Newsweek article, and by extension, most mainstream reporting on the subject. And that's, what, Guns? You do this long enough and you get pretty good at sniffing out the nonsense right as it comes across your field of vision, or perhaps your field of smell. Yeah,
I was just trying to pull up the our source here from Harvard University, the index of MSM ownership, the mainstream media ownership. And just to take a look at Newsweek, just to do our due diligence here.
Sure.
According to Harvard.edu, unclear funding. Since Newsweek was spun off from ATN Uzak's International Business Times Media in September 2018, Newsweek has been owned by Jonathan Davis and Dev Pragad. They co-founded International Business Times, which in 2013 bought Newsweek. In 2017,
International Business Times.
Yeah,
isn't that the intelligence outlet?
Intelligence outlet. Yeah,
that's the CIA outlet.
Oh,
so
I like
they
how they
own Newsweek.
I like how they tell us that, but at the top it says unclear funding. Good job, Harvard.
Unclear funding. That means the CIA.
The CIA, yeah.
Is there anybody else that has unclear funding? That is very interesting. Okay, so now we know Newsweek, pretty explicitly a United States intelligence agency outlet.
Davis is married to the president of Christian College Olivet University. So maybe they need some kind of, Christian nationalism type
all
of thing.
That.
Yeah, in 2020, Uzak pleaded guilty to fraud and money laundering charges by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and had been accused of deep ties to a shadowy Christian cult. Amid many other scandals, the opinion section is brimming with right-wing columnists. Nigel Farage, Newt Gingrich are regulars, as is Alan Dershowitz. So,
I'm sorry, what outlet are you reading?
Newsweek,
yeah. Huh, interesting.
So you got intelligence, and then you got Christians.
Well,
Christians in quotes.
Remember, I was kind of bumbling the other day. I was trying to remember the name of this documentary that was sort of the weird kind of Jesus cult inside of the government. That was not. It was sort of like claimed to be Christianity, but had their own version of the Bible that had like a bunch of stuff taken out and things rearranged to make it sound like Jesus was saying you need to be some sort of Machiavellian, evil, like politician person.
Right.
The documentary is called The Family. The Family is what it's called, and it's like the secret Christian Illuminati in politics and what some might call the deep state, and it's very interesting, and that might be what they're referring to there.
Yeah, well, clearly Newsweek intelligence agencies are getting sloppy, because a lot of people pointed out that but in this article, this Newsweek article, going back to the whole Garland thing and the Trump thing, this is a pretty long report, and the Garland part is at the very bottom. So I think they probably thought, we'll just throw it in there. We'll have a little thing and nobody will care. But too many people called them out, including yours truly. So
there you go. All right. I just noticed that the gain on my mic had pretty much been maxed out. I was wondering why you sounded so quiet, and I could hear, the mites crawling around in my carpets or something. But things have been fixed. You didn't have any problems with my gain there?
No, nothing changed over here.
All right. Well, Gons, thank God that it is Friday.
It's Friday, It's Friday, It's Friday. It's Friday,
Yeah. You gonna learn today.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained?
It's Friday.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
That's right. It's Friday. This week flew by, man. I don't know what it was, but oh man, it's the weekend again. This sounds exhausting almost.
Yeah. Well, life is exhausting. When you chase around children's or emus or whatever you're doing over there. Well, you're not chasing around children's, but
no. But the emus are much faster than children. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sure. Yeah. Probably less prone to climb things and jump off of them, though.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. What's going on with you? Anything we need to know about?
No, just Well, thank you for the prayers, by the way. I know I called for some prayers last week, I think, and so things are doing a little better in the Shimura family.
A little better.
So appreciate the prayers from people out there. So that's it.
Okay. Love it. Well, let's take a second and thank some executive producers.
Oh, you got nothing, huh? You just
no, not really. I mean, I've been meaning to bring some replica reports, which I have built up in a catalog here, but I'm not prepared to give them today. I don't know. I mean, it's been a little cooler. That's been nice. I've only been having to go through 2 ice packs per show instead of 4. So that's wonderful. I did go ahead and order an ice pack vest. So I might be my outfit for the show.
Ice pack vest and the apron.
The apron. I forgot the apron. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, you got some work to do over there.
Yeah. No, I've been just sort of trying to recover. It's been a crazy couple months, and things are starting to slow down for a second. Of course, I say that right before they pick back up. But we could not do this if it weren't for our producers, and we have some executive producers to thank for this episode.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, which means that we take no corporate money whatsoever. No advertisements, affiliate codes, platform partnerships, nothing. No, we are entirely funded by listeners of the show. Why is this important? Well, it's important because, as we know, no matter how much they try to convince you otherwise, when corporations spend money to support pieces of media, it's not out of the goodness of their hearts or their desires for good information to be delivered to the people. No, it's to further corporate interests. And money is how they accomplish that. So,
where'd you find
Oops, sorry.
Too many quote unquote independent media outlets take corporate money, and which, whether or not they believe it or realize it, there is no corporate money without corporate interests attached. And that kind of goes against the whole thing we're trying to do here. So instead, value for value. If you get value out of this show, you put value back in. It's the only way it continues. And if you'd like to do that, you can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. Now let's thank those executive producers.
Sounds good. You got
Where's
him?
the
We
jingle?
already played the jingle.
Oh, okay. Here we go. We're going to start out with executive producer. This is a rocky start to this show.
Yeah, this is real bumpy, but go
We'll
ahead.
get there. We'll
Yeah,
get there.
we'll get there.
Here we go. Executive producer David W.
David W., thank you.
Thank you very much, David W. I did not see a note from David W. And David W. came in with a nice round number. For those who don't know, you come in with a nice round number. That signals to us that you prefer we do not disclose the amount of your producership. If you don't mind us disclosing it, just put some, make it a funky number. An easy way to do that, some people put 77 cents, 33 cents, 11 cents, whatever. You can get creative with it. But if it's a nice flat round number, we go ahead and help you out, keeping that anonymous for you or undisclosed. Thank you very much, executive producer David W.
Where'd you find this?
That's right.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got executive producer Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers.
All right. What's up, Sir Captain Redbeard? Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's nice to see Sir Captain Redbeard here again, coming in with a nice round number and a note here. He says, "This is one happy pirate." Oh, wait.
You got to do the
on.
pirate voice.
Arr,
Yeah.
This is one happy pirate king. There have been many demoochings lately, and the crew continues to grow. Welcome to all the recently demooched.
Yeah.
Aye, aye, Captain. Thank you very much. And yes, it's been wonderful. The fairly consistent demoochings this week.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a lot more than normal. That definitely an uptick.
Yeah. And remember, we could have probably given out more, but, if you want a demooching, you got to ask for it. You put it in your note or you send us an email or something, and we'll do it that way. But thank you very much, Sir Captain Redbeard. Sorry. Executive producer, Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you,
That's
Sir Captain.
right. Now
Redbeard.
we have a make good, an
Yeah.
executive producer make good. We had a crypto producer come in August 1st, and somehow we missed it. So if you were an anonymous crypto producer from August 1st, we are going to thank you right now as being a retroactive executive crypto producer.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
That's right. Executive
you.
producer anonymous. It ended up coming in to be about $107.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 107.77 was the intended exchange rate there. Thank you very much, executive producer anonymous.
Where'd you find this?
Real quick, let's head on over to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
That's right, folks. Head on over to canarycrymeetups.com. Get involved. Find a meetup that's happening near you and go to it. It's wonderful. Fellowshipping with other listeners of the show. Y'all have a lot in common already, and it's very important to meet people who, if things go south, you got your little apocalypse team there, or you can just never talk to them again. But some people find best friends. They find this month, we've got quite a few meetups coming up. We've got the Knoxville, Tennessee meetup on August 24th at Market Square Market Square in Knoxville, Tennessee. You can RSVP by emailing organizedsheep at proton.me. That sounds like it's going to be a fun one. Knoxville, Tennessee there. We also have the Houston, Galveston, Texas meetup. Again, August 27th, 7:33 p.m. at Noah's Ark Bar and Grill in Bay Cliff, Texas. You can email davyfrost@gmail.com. That's Davy with an EY. Now, we've also got the Missouri meetups, which is a 2-day meetup. What? Ozark, Missouri, and Branson, Missouri on the 27th and 28th, respectively. Wow, my game just shot up again.
You got some connection issues. I think we need to get you some new cables over
Something is going on.
Yeah. Usually it's a cable problem.
Where was I?
You were talking about the
Missouri
Ozark,
meetups.
Branson,
The Ozark, Missouri on the 27th, Branson, Missouri on the 28th. The 27th will be at Finley Farms at 2:30 p.m. The August 28th will be Silver Dollar City, baby, Branson, Missouri at 10 a.m. Silver Dollar City is fun. It's kind of like a folksy Americana Disneyland. I know some people who love Silver Dollar City. I've yet to go, but I would make a special trip just to go to Silver Dollar City. And get in touch with Gabby L. For your RSVP. That's sundancer8910 at gmail.com. Sundancer8910 at gmail.com. Oh my gosh, there's another one on August 27th. Garland, Texas. This is the monthly meetup at the Household of Faith on Wynn Joyce Road there. I think you just show up to this one. You go to Canary Crime Meetups and you will get in contact with Adam42, who's on the Discord server there. But it's got the address, it's got everything. Their topic for this meetup is Wrestling with the Theodicy with guest speaker Ellis Wright. Ooh, that's fun. So what is this? 4 meetups on the 27th? No, that weekend. 4 meetups all in like 2 days. Yeah. That's going to be very fun. All right. So there you go. Go to canarycrimemeetups.com. Go to these meetups. You're going to love it. It's very important for Canarians to be meeting in person, meeting people around you who are on the level, baby. There's Canarians everywhere. And if there's not one near you, put one on yourself. All you got to do is email us, pick a time, pick a place, and let us know about it. We will tell the world. canarycrimemeetups.com. We'll see you at the meetup.
This is fun! See you at the meetup.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update comes from Wired.com. And as you know, folks, during the Flippy update, we explore the takeover of the robots, not only of society, but our minds, our hearts, our families. Whose jobs are they taking? All of ours eventually. But we tend to think that there is a certain group of people whose jobs are safe. And I would like to explore that during this Flippy update. It comes from Wired.com. The headline, Swarms of mini robots could dig the tunnels of the future. Ooh, the future guns. For decades, engineers seeking to build tunnels underground have relied on huge tube-like machines armed with a frightening array of cutting wheels at one end, blades that eat dirt for breakfast. These behemoths, called tunnel boring machines, or TBMs, are expensive and often custom built for each project, as were the TBMs used to excavate a path for London's recently opened Elizabeth Line Railway. The machines deployed on that project weighed over 1,000 tons each and cut tunnels over 7 meters in diameter beneath the UK capital. But British startup Hypertunnel has other ideas. The firm proposes a future in which much smaller, roughly 3-meter long robots shaped like half cylinders zoom about underground via pre-drilled pipes. Ugh. Okay, first of all, these are not mini robots.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 meters
long
is
robot.
not mini. That's pretty big.
I don't like the social engineering aspect of this, where they are in this time of double speak and redefining terms and to suit the will of the elite lizard people ruling our hearts and minds. I do not like mini being 10 feet, 9 feet. Cool mini robot. These pipes, around 250 millimeters, 10 inches in diameter, would follow the outline of the proposed tunnel walls. Once inside them, the bots would use a robotic arm topped with a milling head to penetrate into the surrounding earth and carve out small voids that would then get filled with concrete or some other strong material. Piece by piece like this, the structure of a new tunnel would come together. Quote, "We're talking about thousands of them," says Hypertunnel's director of engineering, Patrick Lane Knott. Quote, "Much like an ant colony or a termite colony works in swarms." Yeah, we understand what a swarm is. Thank you. A video released by the company includes a 3D animation of the robots beavering away on some imagined subterranean structure of gargantuan proportions. Jeez Louise. Now, okay, let me finish this out. But it would be rather like building tunnels in reverse. With a TBM, you first dig the hole and then add supports to the walls to keep the remaining earth surrounding the void at bay. Quote, "The void." Quote, "We put the tunnel in the ground and then we dig the hole," says Lane Knott. "Once the structure has been built, the material filling the tunnel's chamber can be removed." This is some real...
So wait a minute. They're not actually making the tunnel. They're saying the swarm of 3-meter miniature robots is going to basically dig it out, create the structure where then we can come in and build the tunnel?
No, they build the supporting, tube first.
Right.
With concrete or whatever. So they build the tube first, and then you come in and dig the dirt out of the already underground tube. I have no idea why this is more efficient.
No, this seems very...
It seems less efficient, but what do I know? I don't know much about tubes.
I don't know much about tubes or digging. I don't know. This is like they're trying to be anti-boring.
Well, they try to explain it here. One advantage of this, he argues, is in using less building material overall. Instead of placing standardized sections of tunnel wall along the entire length of the project, the structure's outer thickness could vary to suit the actual geology and pressures surrounding the tunnel at any given point. Tunneling experts who spoke to Wired agree that the industry is crying out for technological solutions to lower costs. Oh, we're crying out. It can take years to design and build a TBM and then actually build the tunnel with it. And then it goes into examples. Oh, no, here's the example. A suite of new companies promising to shake things up is emerging, from Elon Musk's Boring Company to Hypertunnel, and firms developing new high-temperature methods of blasting through the toughest rocks on Earth. Whoa. So, first of all, Flippy's going underground, baby. This is, what is it called? All domain supremacy, full spectrum supremacy. We got Flippy's in space. We just covered the Flippy's underwater. We got Flippy's in the burger restaurants and the hospitals. And now we even have Flippy's underground, the robotic arms that are actually doing the digging here. So good job, Flippy. You're going to put Elon Musk out of business with his Boring Company. And I think that's where the real threat is here. Watch out, Elon. The robots are coming for you.
What kind of car? Let me see here. They have a little CGI thing that shows the whole deal. It makes a little more sense when you view it. But yeah, part of this also is How do we know that Elon doesn't already have this? It feels like Elon front ran a bunch of technology. We didn't do the Chinese full humanoid bot that they released recently, which is very similar to the Tesla bot or whatever he was building. And now we got this tunneling thing that, Elon doesn't talk much about his boring company, but...
Not only does Elon Musk certainly have an army of mini robots that are going to be doing his bidding, almost certainly Elon Musk is a bunch of mini robots in a trench coat pretending to be a human man. So I think it's got to be all part of the plan. Maybe this is some sort of controlled opposition. I think it's funny that this company is called Hypertunnel, and the name of Elon Musk's sort of trophy project with his tunnel company is called the Hyperloop. I think I'm on to you, Elon. I see what's going on
Either
here.
that or, they're trying to make a pitch to Elon to buy the technology, which is probably the other side of it. But
Elon doesn't buy companies except for Tesla.
Yeah. Have you seen the villain from Big Hero 6? He's got those little nanobots that do his bidding. Kind of reminds me of it. Maybe that's what Elon is. He's got like his
That's
little...
what I'm saying.
Yeah, nanobots.
I think Elon Musk is a bunch of mini bots that are wearing a trench coat and a hat, and they started doing this so they could get into R-rated movies, but found out that they can also become a billionaire and create a world in which tiny one-armed robots can live in safety and harmony without being, the threat of being, attacked by racists or something.
Well, we need to make sure that we build all kinds of tunnels underground because we got to make more colliders. We need more, just experiments.
More large hadron colliders.
Yeah, smashing particles, particle accelerators.
Deep underground military bases.
Yeah, and we'll touch on the Sinkhole story later, but I think they're already starting to build quite a bit down there, and it's causing some issues up top and blaming your usual suspects to make excuses for. We'll get to the Sinkhole story later on, but I think there's a connection here with swarms of mini robots and the uptick in reporting about sinkholes in recent days. So,
indeed.
We'll just keep
so watch out, folks. Flippy, he might be above your head. He might be in the lake you're swimming in, and he might also be right beneath the ground that you stand upon.
He's everywhere. Full spectrum dominance.
Yeah.
Flippy, 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
Go to canarycry.party, put it in your browser, hit enter. Canarycry.party is a website with a tree of links that leads to everything from where to listen to the... Go to canarycry.party!
It's the place you wanna be. So stay. Welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, Canary Cry, party.
Long week, Guns. It's been a long week for you. Short week for me. I don't know why. Things are weird. Okay, folks. Canarycry.party. It's the place to be. Like I said, you can sign up for the newsletter there. I highly recommend you do that. But you can also listen to Ravel, which is a podcast that I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, who's got a PhD in biblical interpretation. We explore scripture, society, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. Check it out on your podcast players or right there at canarycry.party. You can also find links to the Canary Cry mixtape Volume 1, a mixtape filled with so many of your favorite Canary Cry news talk songs created by producers. Now, just a notice about that. The Bandcamp is down for now. We're switching out some of the mastered tracks. There's a couple of things being fixed on the album. So the Bandcamp will be down for a few days, but you can still listen on Spotify and the other outlets there. Go check it out. Canary Cry Mixtape Volume 1. You can also find links to Canary Cry Clips, which is on YouTube and Odyssey, a beautiful place, a magical wonderland filled with clips of this show, segmented out piece by piece by our wonderful review information. Go back, listen to different segments, or share it with your friends, your family, or strangers on the street.
15 subscribers to 1,000. Come on, folks. We're at 985.
We're so close. So close.
Let's
once
get
we
that
get
to
1,000.
Yeah.
Once we get 1,000 on there, it'll help us. We could go live on that channel as a backup if we wanted. So go help us get to 1,000. Last but not least, text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226 to get our text message alerts, where we send out a little alert before we go live so you never miss a show. Go do it.
Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your
We will launch a new age.
Yeah, we will.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
So obviously the Trump saga continues here. It's all anyone can talk about and think about.
It even continues to change like moment by moment.
Yeah.
There's new information coming out that it's even changing now. So I'm going to kind of keep an eye out, see if anything changes even further while we're reporting on it. But why don't you get us started?
Sure. So we have the Insider, businessinsider.com here. And the headline is, Trump once revealed that the U.S. had a new secret nuclear weapons system that nobody's ever had. Book. So, yeah, good time to pitch a book.
Book.
Donald Trump once boasted to a reporter about the nuclear information he had. In Bob Woodward's 2020 book Rage, the journalist detailed a conversation with Trump in 2019 in which the then president described a secret nuclear weapons system he credited himself with creating. Quote, I have built a weapons system that nobody's ever had in this country before. We have stuff that Putin and Xi have never heard before. There's nobody... What we have is incredible, end quote, Trump reportedly said. Why are they even doing this? Woodward wrote that sources confirmed the new weapons system existed, but were, quote, surprised Trump had disclosed it. Maybe this is part of the UFO thing. It's not clear what kind of nuclear weapons Trump was referring to. FBI agents descended on Trump's Mar-a-Lago home to carry out a search warrant on Monday. The Justice Department has not confirmed what investigators were looking for, but... The Washington Post reported that documents related to nuclear information were among the items that federal agents had their sights on. Yeah, okay, nothing new. Trump called the reports of nuclear weapons documents being among the items in the search warrant a hoax. Quote, nuclear weapons issue is a hoax, just like Russia was a hoax. 2 impeachments were a hoax. The Mueller investigation was a hoax, and much more, end quote, Trump posted on his social media site, Truth Social. But he later didn't deny that he had nuclear documents at Mar-a-Lago, instead attacking former President Barack Obama. Trump falsely accused Obama of illegally keeping classified documents. Quote, President Barack Hussein Obama kept 33 million pages of documents. Much of them classified, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. How many of them pertain to nuclear? Word is lots, end quote. So, this is like, I was kind of lurking on social media to see the sentiment from all sides of the aisle here, and it is really just, I don't know. I know the country is falling apart. I know the United States is falling apart, but I really had just a moment of, man, we're really being distracted from something bigger, and the low-hanging fruit, mudslinging, is at an all-time high from all sides. And it's just I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that we can't band together a little bit more in considering that, hey, maybe these politicians, man, they don't have our best interests, and I don't think necessarily Trump does either. Hello, daughter. Yes, would you have something to say?
Hello, daughter.
What?
We've got a child on the show, folks. This is a family show, and it's all part of the content. Just enjoy it.
Oh yeah, she wants a pool party. Not right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can throw a pool
later.
party. Pool party after the show, everybody.
Yeah. hot, so it
So
works.
Trump once revealed that the U.S. had a new secret plan or whatever, nuclear weapon. What does this have to do with the raid? Or is this unrelated?
It's all related. Well, let's go to what is this? This is New York Times here, and they have a little bit more of a more recent thing. And it's live updates. Documents taken from Trump's home included classified material, report says. Okay, so maybe we got a little bit more here. List of documents removed from former President Donald J. Trump's Florida residence, Mar-a-Lago, include materials marked as top secret and meant to be viewed only in secure government facilities, the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday. Okay, so it's marked as top security.
Yes.
I don't think that means anything. I mean, it could be the Trump's top secret seal. You know,
So
it doesn't mean
this is-
government.
This is where the crux of the whole thing is coming from. Why don't you read a little bit more?
Sure.
and we can get
Federal
into it.
agents who executed a search warrant on Monday seized 11 sets of documents in all, including some marked as classified, TSSCI. Documents shorthand for top secret, sensitive, compartmentalized information, according to the report. In total, agents collected 4 sets of top secret documents, 3 sets of secret documents, and 3 sets of confidential documents. The Journal reported, saying it had reviewed the inventory of items taken in the search. Included in the manifest were also files pertaining to the pardon of Roger J. Stone Jr., a longtime associate of Mr. Trump, and a briefing dossier of President Emmanuel Macron of France. Wow.
Yeah, this is one of the weird ones. Some of the documents have to do with the French president, which is, you know, if Trump was sort of purposefully, you know, holding back documents or why, you know, he claims that they were accidentally loaded on the plane while he was moving out of the White House.
Right.
Which, you know, I don't know, whatever. I guess it's possible, but it seems like a bit of an oversight. But, you know, if it was on purpose, what are these files on Macron and why? Why does Trump want them?
The inventory, which accompanied a warrant issued by a federal judge, is expected to be released as part of the Justice Department's efforts to make the warrant and some supporting materials public. I thought that was supposed to happen at noon our time here, at least on my time, West Coast. I don't know if anything came of it, but
Things move fast.
Yeah, I guess nothing happened because
Wait,
we would've
I'm
probably heard
sorry.
about
Is this regarding the warrant?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, the warrant's out.
Oh, so
I
we
have
know.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
give
I've
it
been
to-
looking at a bunch of stuff.
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right. So I was going to say it was supposed to come out a couple hours ago, so I think we're
No, it's out, and reporting has started on it.
All right, let's see.
Actually, why don't I I'm going to pop a link over here for you, which talks a little bit about it, and it does have something very revealing in the warrant. I have not yet seen anybody make the physical, actual document public, but there's been lots of writing about it. This one is coming from The Hill, and it is. Oh, where did it go? Here it is, mirrored on MSN. And this is interesting. The headline, Trump suspected of violating Espionage Act, according to search warrant. Now, the sort of ponderings that have been going around all week because we didn't know what was in the warrant, people trying to figure out what might be in there, connect it to other cases going on, try to assume their way through the information, is in regards to the Presidential Records Act, which, you know, we've talked about in the past. But in the warrant, it actually revealed that it's connected to suspicion of violation of the Espionage Act, which is quite a bit different. Here's a bit of the article. Federal law enforcement suspected former President Trump had violated the Espionage Act and other laws when it sought to obtain a search warrant for his Mar-a-Lago estate, according to court records unsealed Friday. That's today. The unsealed warrant shows that investigators were authorized to seize any documents or records with classified markings or related to the, quote, transmission of national defense information or classified material. Now, the the markings part, the classified markings part is interesting, and I think may become more interesting as it goes on. In the government, of course, if something gets made top secret or classified or whatever, of the varying levels of which it can be marked or categorized, it gets the mark. You got the big stamp on the front, top secret, classified, whatever. That's one thing. Now, I think it'll come up in an article. Maybe it's this one. Trump claims that he declassified.
Yeah, that was the one I was gonna. Right. Yeah, this is the one I was gonna pull
president. Up. As president, he technically can declassify literally anything he wants.
Look at the number of things he declassified too.
And there was a number of things he declassified, and he claims to have declassified these documents, which would have allowed him to take them, but the pushback against that is that he didn't go through the right, the right process.
The formal written record that would be difficult to disprove.
Didn't file the right forms, didn't do these things. And so there's going to be a lot of attention focused on those two details. Like, can a president just say something is declassified and then they become declassified? Some people say you got to follow the rules. Other people will say, well, it's executive privilege. The president just has to say something and then it gets done. These types of pretty boring but pretty important details will be discussed in the future. Let's see here. Let's continue with this. The warrant also authorized the seizure of, quote, any evidence of the knowing alteration, destruction, or concealment of any government and or presidential records, or of any documents with classification markings. You're going to love this, Gun. Get the bell ready. Investigators listed 33 items that they had seized from the property, including the executive order of clemency for longtime Trump ally Roger Stone and information regarding the president of France. The receipts also included entries such as miscellaneous top secret documents. Miscellaneous. Which ones? Oh, just this and that, binders of photos and a handwritten note. Ooh. The handwritten note thing is interesting. Technically, the notes that a president handwrites are subject to the presidential archives. I'm not sure about the Espionage Act, but so the fact that they took the handwritten note shows that they had more than just the Espionage Act in mind. But we never covered it, but a week or two ago, there was this crazy amount of news coverage on the documents that Trump flushed down the toilet. You remember that? Mm-hmm. It was a big deal in 2020 or leading up to the election.
Toilets, the whole deal, yeah.
And then it came back up out of nowhere, like last week, with more photos of quote unquote documents he had flushed down the toilet, and they were literally just like napkins with some Trump scribblings on it. And is it weird that he was flushing away handwritten notes? Yeah. But is it top secret documents? Trump destroying top secret documents? No, I don't think so. The binders of photos is interesting.
That could be a part of the sewer surveillance too. Maybe they need to really get in there and find out what's going on.
Surveillance. What do you think these photos are in the binders of photos?
What? What are you talking about?
Binders of photos. They took miscellaneous top secret documents and binders of photos and a handwritten note. Yeah, I don't think it's aliens, UFOs.
Could be.
But this the lookbook of Trump's, UFO sightings.
Selfies.
Yeah. The inventory of documents seized during this search lays out 11 different sets of classified items seized during the search. Yeah, we know this. We already talked about it.
Yeah. So from what I understand here, he did declassify it, but so there's a law, Section 1519 and 2071 of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, making concealing documents a crime, even if they were unclassified. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's an interesting detail. Although, did he conceal it? Yeah, I guess he is concealing it if he's taken it to his house.
Well, they were concealed. They were in a safe. He had them in closets, which, again, you got to remember, the Archives Association, administration, whatever, had already come to Mar-a-Lago, took a bunch of boxes
in June, right?
And left other boxes and told him, hey, put a lock on this door if you're going to keep these boxes in this closet. And he's like, okay, and put a lock on the door. Now, here's the response. A spokesman for Trump, when asked for comment, pointed to a post from the former president on Truth Social claiming that the records had been declassified. Quote, "Number one, it was all declassified," Trump wrote in the post. "Number two, they didn't need to seize anything." My Trump is not very good. "They could have had it any time they wanted without playing politics and breaking into Mar-a-Lago. It was in secured storage with an additional lock put on as per their request. They could have had it any time they wanted, and that includes long ago."
That is an interesting point. Yeah, obviously, in the political situation we're in with the midterms, it's a problem if the DOJ and the FBI, they knew about this for 2 years and did nothing. Isn't that just as much of a national security threat as the potential of Trump taking documents? I mean, what is our leadership, our intelligence agencies, what are they doing if they're kind of sitting around doing nothing for a couple years? You know? So anyway, just that's a Trump point, I guess, but sure.
Yeah. Now, the Espionage Act is interesting because that is how they're trying to get Julian Assange. Mm-hmm. They're trying to charge Trump with the same Julian Assange Act. So I don't know. There's some interesting irony there. Yeah. Seeing as Trump had sort of campaigned on the idea that he would not set him free, but give him a pardon. He was going to pardon Assange and then took it back.
He mentions Assange and Snowden in this article.
And Chelsea Manning as well. So, it goes on a bit. But, the Espionage Act is kind of the newest piece of information. It turns where the Presidential Archive Act or whatever was kind of like we can technically get him on this. It's more of like an administrative technicality that he was going to get in trouble for. Going for the Espionage Act is back to Trump's and Russian asset. He's blah, blah, it's much more intense putting him in that category. And I don't know. I mean, for better or for worse, I think if they are trying to get Trump on some sort of technicality or something to make it so he can't run for president, you got to aim low, man, because trying to get him on the Espionage Act is a pretty high bar. It's a pretty high bar to reach, especially for him. Yeah. But if found guilty of some of the most serious charges, the one involving destroying records in a federal investigation carries a maximum possible sentence of up to 20 years in prison. So they're trying to lock him away.
Yeah. Some of the sentiment I saw from social media, and this isn't news per se, but just the temperament of the people, especially a lot of the anti-Trumpers are out in droves again, talking about, finally we get some justice or whatever it is. And it was funny because a lot of them were saying, hey, Obama never tried to sell nuclear secrets to other nations. Like, he never did that.
Oh, didn't he?
And I just a reminder, this is from May 11th, 2015. And this is Business Insider. And the headline is, Obama just made a quiet nuclear deal with China. And, they'll say, oh, there's not nuclear weapons. It's not nuclear weapons he's given to China. But in the article itself here, there's a spot where it says, Henry Sokolsky, executive director of the Non-Proliferation Policy Education Center, had been urging lawmakers to insist on requiring advance consent for the reprocessing of spent fuel from U.S.-designed reactors into plutonium suitable for weapons. He is also concerned about the sale of certain nuclear energy technologies, especially coolant pumps, with possible naval use. So they were already kind of like, yeah, we're kind of not sure about selling all that stuff to China. And it goes on to talk about like, well, China already had nuclear weapons and they've been, doing research since the 60s. So they're in a whole different category, They're like a different thing. So, okay. And I love this picture. A great reminder of, it's just in hindsight, I don't know. It resonates a little differently. Again, this is an article from 2015. It is a picture of Michelle Obama standing with Xi and the Obama children. I think maybe Michelle's mom right there in China visiting and, just taking a photo op in front of some Chinese temple. But given the situation
with the dictator,
yeah. I mean, if you in the hindsight, it's kind of like, wow, okay, I think our country really was sold out to China. A lot more than people. Ago. Yeah, a lot longer. There's a lot more that's been sold off, and it happened long ago. I mean, I think Obama was really the icing on the cake, because Bush was doing some stuff before him too. So it's not like
Bill Clinton started it.
Yeah, Clinton started
and
it.
And he did a great job. Then Bush came along and had a good time, rode some horses, stuff like that. Then Obama came in and, everything just got turned up to 11.
The other thing that I kept seeing was, well, when did Obama ever have classified documents in his basement? Mm-hmm. To which I think a lot of people...
ignoring the fact that Hillary did that exact thing?
Well, Hillary didn't have nuclear secrets, did she? Yeah, I don't know. But just interestingly enough, if we're talking about secret documents or classified information in basements, just a reminder, this is from 2020.
What you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. Wow. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, hello.
Right.
I mean,
he wanted to be the basement president.
Yeah, I wanted to be basement president. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. The awareness of the general public is quite alarming. Low awareness.
The unawareness,
low awareness from all sides. But
kind of to top it off.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There was real quick, before we move on to the next one, there was kind of a kicker down here at the end on this Hill article. It said, it remains unclear whether the Justice Department has seized evidence that would support charging Trump with any of the crimes, or if he faces an imminent threat of prosecution. So they're not even sure. Well, it's unclear as of now if they even got anything that would implicate him in the crimes that he's being accused of. And that's why the Espionage Act charge, well, it's not a charge yet, but it's a suspicion. That's why the Espionage Act is so interesting, because it's almost like, let's try to get him for the biggest possible thing with a pretty high bar of evidence needed. And if he doesn't have, even if he does have a bunch of unclassified documents illegally, if it's not like the exact ones that match the Espionage Act requirements, then nothing will happen. And he'll just, he'll just keep living his life, which is probably the most likely outcome as of now. And, it brings us back to this question. Why? Why did it go this way? There was reporting and comments about how, they didn't mean for it to be such a circus. They tried to do it secretly. They tried to avoid all this.
Yeah, of course.
And they botched it, but that was also in the same article that lied about Merrick Garland. So, we can't believe any of that. But we talked about this in context of the midterms last episode, and what this means for the midterms. And over here at Breitbart.com, they have an article that goes like this. The headline, most Americans say FBI raid on Trump motivates them to vote in the midterms. Oh, everybody's more motivated now. Now, who exactly is motivated? Most Americans say the FBI's raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home has motivated them to vote in the midterm election. A Convention of States Action Trafalgar Group survey released Wednesday found, quote, does the FBI raid on President Trump increase your motivation to vote in the 2022 election? The survey said. The overwhelming majority, 70.4%, said the FBI's raid of Trump's residence will increase their motivation to vote in the 2022 election, compared to 21.6% who said it will not.
Thanks. Math.
Yeah, here's some more math. Another 8.1% remained unsure. Over half of the Democrats, 55.2%, said it will increase their motivation to vote. So I'm thinking, okay, so maybe this was a Democrat ploy to kind of catch the rat in a trap and get the Democrats to vote. But an even greater number of Republicans, 83.3%. Nice little 33 in there.
Yep.
Said it will motivate them to head to the polls in November. 7 in 10 independents, 71.7%, said it will motivate them to vote in November as well. So Democrats, motivated, 50% motivated. Republicans and independents, like 83 and 71% respectively.
I told you, man. I told you.
Called it.
I said this was the Republican row thing. This
You're
is
right.
just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, much like how Roe v. Wade being overturned motivated Democrats,
right.
This is motivating Republicans, which kind of does give a little credence to the theory that, maybe Trump was tipped off, maybe Trump is in contact with his buddy, Christopher, what's his name? The head of the FBI, director of the FBI, Ray. Christopher Wray, who is a Trump appointee. Maybe he's in on it. And maybe this was the plan the whole time. Who knows?
He's a 5D chess champion, so of course he would put people in office that he knows he can manipulate, even if they're against him. In fact, maybe that was
with
the play.
Trump, it's all about loyalty.
Yeah.
Christopher Wray had to prove his loyalty by raiding Mar-a-Lago. Additionally, the survey found that 47.9% overall believe, quote, Trump's political enemies are behind the raid, compared to 39.7% who said the impartial justice system is behind
That's the 39.7% that my heart and my mind just melt for. It's like, come on, guys.
Over three quarters of Republicans, 76.7%, believe Trump's political enemies are behind the raid. The survey was taken August 8th through 10th, 2022, among 1,095 likely general election voters, and has a plus or minus 2.9% margin of error. And there you go. So no matter what, this has activated the independents and the Republicans to vote more in the 2022 election, which, remember, is a midterm election. So it's not even the president's. It's not even the president's election. It's the
midterms.
The midterms, which considering the Republicans have come out and explicitly promised that if we take the Senate and the House, we will defund the FBI. So you got to think a lot of those people motivated are like, yeah, let's defund the FBI. Sounds cool. Sounds good.
Actually, interestingly enough, that was the only sort of bipartisan thing that I saw. People saying, hey, we Republicans saying down with the FBI. Some Democrats can get on board with that. Let's work together to take down the FBI. And who would actually do that in 2024 and beyond would be a second President Trump term. So
yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, it would have to be the Senate and the House, but
but
certainly filled with Trump people.
Yeah.
They might actually do it. Yeah. You're right. Alternatively, it is funny to be putting Democrats in the situation where they have to defend law enforcement.
all of this is just a big game and a stage, and we all know that. So I think it's meant meant to get people that are really into the political drama to go into the details. And I mean, I'm looking at Twitter right now, and people are freaking out. It's like, oh, it's declassified, but it's classified, but they have no idea what they're talking about on Twitter.
Right.
You know, it's just people going crazy. Oh, this is Grand Slam. He's going to jail. You know, I mean, just madness. Which I think that's part of it too. I'm sure this helps the Democrats in a sense too, because they got some ammunition for the 2024 if Trump runs. You know, that's a lot of bait that the Democrats would take as part of the why Trump should not get elected, and keep Joe. Which, by the way, where's Joe? What's Joe up to?
Joe, what's going on?
We'll get to Joe later. Oh, did I lose you?
Oh, you lost me for a second.
I lost you for a second. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I said he's taking a nap.
Okay, well, let's take a break, and then we will actually talk about Joe. You good with that, or you got anything else more to say about this?
Nope. Let's go.
Let me just say one last thing, because this is part of my tweet from a couple days ago that, you know, the Democrats had the Roe reversal to light a fire under their butts. You have this raid thing that motivates the Republicans. Meanwhile, our actual resources, our capital, our weapons, everything else continues to just go to other countries. You know, the United States gets drained of our resources, and, you know, nobody bats an eye because, hey, elections, go vote, try to make a difference. I'm being sarcastic. I don't know if you can tell if I'm being sarcastic.
You know what? I am not mistaken, but I just found, I mentioned that nobody had actually released the search warrant documents.
I was going to say, somebody had to have.
Guess who did? CNN.com.
I was going to say Babylon Bee. No.
Yes. CNN is the only place I've seen so far that actually has the documents readable on their webpage.
They got the connections.
Yeah, love it.
Let's see.
Okay, let's take a break.
Okay, I was going to look for that, but let's do it.
I can send it to you. All right, folks, like I mentioned, we're on the value for value model. And you know what that means. It means we take no corporate money whatsoever, which is not the most profitable way to run a piece of independent media. However, it is the best way to run independent media that can stay truly independent. And that's the only way that we can do the show the way that we do it. And if that means anything to you, it's time to not just understand the value for value model, but to live it, baby. That's right. It takes actual human beings to who get value from this show to put value back in, to keep it going. And when the value stops flowing, we'll know that we are no longer needed. But today is not that day. You can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. So there's all sorts of ways to get involved. But we're going to thank some people who came in financially to support the show, who rose their rebel fist in the air and said, no more corporations. We don't need you to be middlemen in supporting our independent media analysis and deconstruction. So we got a few people to thank here. And if you want to support the show, you can come on in at canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And here we go. Are you ready, Gons?
Ready.
We are starting by thanking producer Alicia R.
Alicia R
comes in with the 3333.
Thank you, Alicia.
And a note here that says, "Hi, Basil and Gons. It sure is Friday."
It sure is.
It's Friday.
Keep playing with the Friday thing. We can keep playing with the Friday thing. The note does continue and say, I wanted to share my Dame name from the 500th episode special.
Yay.
Ah, right. Alicia R. was one of our episode 500 Dames here. It says, please, may I join the round table as Lady Dame ARIRL. Ooh, that's fun. Can't always listen live, but am today. Okay, all wonderful. Right. Thank you very much, producer Alicia R. And we will be, we got this seat here saved at the round table for you, and we will knight you in our next break.
Yep.
Isn't that exciting? Yeah. Thank you very much, producer Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia.
Next up, we have Oystein B.
Oystein, like Oystein. Interesting.
You couldn't pull one for Oystein, huh?
I was thinking Olstein, but maybe like an oyster. Olstein? I don't know. Interesting.
Oh, this is great. This is wonderful. Sorry, Oystein. This is, producer Oystein B. I did have to look up the pronunciation of it. Came in for $49.99. Thank you very much. I did not see a note. No nothing. But thank you for your support there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I hope I am saying that right. Next up, we have Christian J.
Christian J
comes in, nice round number, and a note here. God bless in Jesus' name. Rapture Feast of Trumpets, 9/23/24/25.
Yeah.
No one knows the day or the hour, but it's one of those 48 hours. The Lord has confirmed this to me. 1140 or 1141 days till blast off. Feast of Trumpets, Leviticus 23, 23, 24, 25. It's right there. Setting dates, huh, Christian J?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds fun. Let's see. They said 1140 days, so they must mean in like a few years.
Could be.
Oh, maybe they mean September 2023?
September 23, 24, 25.
Of what year? That would put this a couple years out.
Yeah, the Feast of Trumpets. Maybe. Okay, so from now. Kind of hard to tell if it's
hard to tell.
The 1140 for today, or from today, or from when Trump was elected.
Some other time.
From some other. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Setting dates. Thank you, Christian J. We will see how that works out.
Thank you.
Next up, we got Stephen or Stephen D.
Stephen D. or Stephen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Producer Stephen D. or Stephen D. coming in with 3333.
Illuminatus!
That's right. The Illuminatus coming in strong. Thank you. Next up, we've got producer Morv on a 126 episode streak.
Yeah!
Quicker.
Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
11. That's right. Thank you, Morv.
Thank you, Morv.
Next up, we've got producer Gail M on a 126 episode streak.
Did you say 126?
156.
56.
Women rule!
Thank you, Gail.
Coming in with pocket full of sevens and a note. Hey, Dolce Dudes. Cece, my cat, just nominated Puddin22 for Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag. Cece has something very special for Puddin. She uses my email address, XXXO. Thank you very much, Gail. And yes, we've got a nomination for the Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag. So Puddin22, if you are out there listening, send an email to canarypeeps@yahoo.com. canarypeeps@yahoo.com. And producer Gail will get you something special.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got producer Darren S. on a 31 episode streak. And let's see here. Darren S. came in for a pocket full of sevens plus fees and a note that says number 31. It's Friday. It's Friday. Says, I think I need to pick a night name now, but I need ideas because my mind is a blank.
Night of Blank Minds.
I was going to say, Sir Darren, Knight of the Blank Mind. There's a start for you. Yes, and this is a good opportunity to mention. It's a bit of the honor system when it comes to knighthood. What has been done in the past, and this is sort of the kind of loosey-goosey standard here, is just go ahead and send us your accounting. You can just take screenshots or something. Just send the email, and we'll get you knighted there, Darren S. Yeah, buddy. That was quick. Only 31 episode streak and knighted. That's what you get for not only producing, but executive producing many times, like Darren S. has. Yeah. Thank you, Darren S. Cannot wait to knight you. We've got a seat waiting for you at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And I I think that is it. I think that is it for our financial producers today. So thank you very much. We do have, this does conclude the list of producers who came in for $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. There's a few that came in under that, so we'll be thanking them in the next break. But until then, thank you all for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
That's right, baby. We're all going to meme school. Yeah, we're back. We're back understanding the deep psychology that are memes and how they affect us on an individual level as well as a society-wide level. Last meme.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought there. No.
Last meme school, I introduced the idea, the theory, and the meme that the left can't meme, and how the right really are, or at least in the eyes of the academics of the meme-averse, is a pretty standard piece of information that the left can't meme, and the right has mastered the art form. And every time the left tries, they fail. But we have an update. This is interesting, Gons.
Yeah.
I could sense the snickering about the academics of meme that I keep trying to bring to the show, to the world. But I am not bringing a meme, and I am not bringing a meme outlet like I have in the past. Instead, I'm bringing an article from The Atlantic.
And this has to do with, we just talked about Trump. Everyone's talking about Trump and the raid and everything else. And I think President Biden is on vacation, but this is how he is being talked about in the media here.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy COVID.
Harry COVID. Yes. Okay. So this is from The Atlantic. So this is mainstream liberal bastion of journalism talking about memes. And the article is titled, Stop Putting Lasers in Joe Biden's Eyes. Subheadline, Dark Brandon isn't really that ironic. Uh-oh. Have you seen the Dark Brandon memes?
No, I mean, is the header image here? Is that part of the dark?
That is an example of Dark Brandon.
So it's it's a black circle. It's Joe's head kind of emerging from the bottom. Cuts off it around his nose, and his eyes are laser red. I thought this was a Bitcoin to 100,000 meme that was taking over the Twitters.
The memeverse is everywhere, Gons. Yes, this is you may have seen memes or images where Joe Biden is doing something silly. He's got laser eyes, or he's doing some sort of masculine activity or something. That's called a Dark Brandon meme. Now, instead of bringing my own interpretation, although I will comment here or there, I just thought it was hilarious how The Atlantic, a elite liberal journalism outlet, how they are interpreting the Dark Brandon memes, what they think about it, and just how serious they think it is. And it goes like this. The president is terrifying. He has laser eyes, or he has laser eyes and he's screaming, or he has laser eyes and he's commanding bolts of lightning like God. He is drinking Republican tears with a splash of lime. He is eating Mitch McConnell's head. Although Joe Biden, I got to see that one. Actually, I'm going to open that one up. That's what I love about this article is they're like, well, I don't want to give away the article, but they give lots of links to wonderful Joe Biden memes. Oh, yeah, this one is a picture. Now, it's one of the pictures where Joe Biden is eating an ice cream. It's the one where he's really kind of going down to just chomp it all at once. And but it's in black and white, and instead of the ice cream cone, they have Mitch McConnell's head there, and it says, "No one will be spared from his rage." Yes, that's Dark Brandon. And the tweet is from an account called Dark Brandon, at the Dark Brandon on Twitter. And the tweet is, "He will release the demon inside. Hashtag Dark Brandon. Hashtag Biden. Hashtag Dark Brandon rising." Now, let's continue. Although Joe Biden has often been the subject of memes related to his friendship with Barack Obama or his obsession with ice cream, he has lately become a different sort of internet figure known as Dark Brandon. Basically, Dark Brandon memes are images of Joe Biden, except scary and powerful, and they have risen in popularity as the president recovers from COVID-19 and advances his legislative agenda. The first Dark Brandon I saw was a weirdly lit photo of a grinning Biden that makes him look like the villain in an A24 horror movie. The text explains that whereas Donald Trump got COVID and suffered symptoms of the illness, Biden got COVID and then announced the killing of the Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri via drone strike.
Which was recycled news. This happened during the Pelosi thing.
Right, yeah, we've killed Ayman al-Zawahiri a couple times.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
I think he died of old age once, and then we killed him once before, and now we killed him again.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just looking at this meme here. It's not even a good one. Man, the left really can't meme. To comprehend why people are doing this, that's what I love about The Atlantic. I can't even comprehend why people are doing this. We need to write an article about it. To comprehend why people are doing this, one must understand that liberals who spend too much time online have for the past several years been locked in a psychosexual showdown with Trump supporters who also spend too much time online. Each side is convinced that the other is incapable of crafting a decent internet joke, yet each side takes the other's jokes as inspiration, of which they give no example of. Members of both groups live in a perpetual state of gloating and of sneering, and of gloating and sneering at the same time. They are devoted trolls who like to post in a way that is inscrutable to most Americans. I don't think so. I think most people like it. I think you, The Atlantic, doesn't understand it. And their twisted relationship often produces strange results. If Dark Brandon is the strange result du jour, 2 prior internet trends would seem to be its parents. The first was Trump supporters' habit, with Trump's encouragement and participation, of photoshopping Trump's face onto characters who are very cool and strong, such as Rambo, or a professional wrestler, or a guy walking away from a plane in a suit. This was maybe supposed to be ironic, but it did not always scan that way to outsiders. The Trump as Rambo images evolved after Trump left office into a niche category of dark MAGA memes that portrayed him as an otherworldly being. In many cases shown with laser eyes, who would soon be raining down violence on all who defied him. The aesthetics at play were a bit anti-democratic. This is the funniest part. So they literally describe how the left is stealing this meme format from the right. The right invented it. The right made it up, admitting that it was ironic, even though some people might not think it is ironic, right? Remember, the left stole this format, and then they say the aesthetics at play were a bit anti-democratic, accelerationist, what have you. And mainstream coverage of the trend from this past spring cited propaganda experts on its allegedly alarming implications. Wow. So when you put laser eyes on Trump, it's anti-democratic and it's accelerationist, which is people who want the society to collapse as fast as possible. And it's alarming with violent implications if Trump has laser eyes. And yet, not a single word about all that when Biden has laser eyes. Okay, cool, The Atlantic. So that's the dark part. Then there's Brandon. And then she puts in parentheticals, I hate this. Because we all know the Brandon part, but she has to explain the Brandon part to people who don't know, and it goes like this. Brandon posts took off last year when an NBC sports commentator insisted that the crowd at a NASCAR race was chanting, "Let's go Brandon," when in fact they were chanting, F Joe Biden. Wow, they spell the whole thing out there. Trump et al. Ran with the euphemized catchphrase and started selling merch. Then Joe Biden supporters tried to turn it on its head by creating a new catchphrase. Thank you, Brandon. Remember thank you, Brandon?
I do.
Which I love this. There's so much honesty in this part of the article. Thank you, Brandon, which didn't make any sense because that isn't the president's name. They were like, we're taking their insult and flipping it.
No.
To me, it seemed more like they were just calling Joe Biden Brandon. But I guess I see where they were going for. Which, thank you, Brandon, was another great example of how the left can't meme.
Which, by the way, on this point, you probably heard about this, but Hillary Clinton promoted But Her Emails merch after the Trump thing.
Yeah, they keep trying to do this. And this is the funny part about the left can't meme response, is the left memes. And look, folks, memes are not just the things you see on the internet. Memes were actually what's his name? Who wrote about the who's the intellectual guy who was in the wheelchair, the electric wheelchair?
Stephen Hawking.
I think it was from a Stephen Hawking book where he proposed the word meme. It's a quite old term, but it's basically genetics for ideas. So, internet memes are like images, that communicate a widely held idea or joke. But a meme can also just include like a term, like thank you, Brandon, or but her emails, things like that. So every semi-successful left meme is simply stolen from the right, and they're trying to claim it as their own or retake the term or something. But the thank you, Brandon, made no sense. Anyways, we're moving on. Putting those together, Dark Brandon became a joke about political posting that was popular among people who don't really care about Joe Biden, but do want to mock anyone who thinks Trump is Captain America or Scarface or whatever, and among people who wanted to poke fun at the idea that anyone would sincerely position Biden as a bad A. The family show, folks. The joke has since developed into something that reads... Yeah, bad donkey. The joke has since developed into something that reads more sincere. Now professed liberals are changing their Twitter usernames and phrases such as, quote, standing with Dark Brandon, and, quote, Joe Biden, our Brandon, promises made, promises kept. That is the name of somebody's Twitter account. Joe Biden, our Brandon, promises made, promises kept. Cool. The profile pic for the latter user is a poster for the 2008 Batman movie, The Dark Knight, but with Joe Biden's head on Christian Bale's body. Various members of the Biden administration have begun tweeting the Dark Brandon Rises meme, including the White House's deputy press secretary, Andrew Bates, and its director of digital strategy, Rob Flaherty. So why is that important? That's important because this whole trying to steal Dark Brandon, as is laid out in the history in this article, started as people who don't even really care about Joe Biden just kind of making fun of the dark MAGA memes. Hey, you put laser eyes on Trump, let's put laser eyes on Biden. That'll be funny. And then the Biden supporters, including the Biden White House administration, the deputy press secretary and director of digital strategy, Rob Flaherty, are latching on to this idea that Dark Brandon memes are some sort of good PR, when it was, again, just literally stolen from the Trump side to kind of make fun of it. And now they're trying to make it sort of unironic and sincere praise.
It's really sad. It's really just
so
looking
sad, man.
They're looking at the trend and they're thinking, oh, this is a marketing opportunity. That's all they're thinking.
Exactly. They don't have any of their own ideas, and they fail consistently, and so they have to latch on to like the worst one possible. As with Hillary Clinton explaining Pepe the Frog, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mike Bloomberg purchasing meme ads on the World Star Hip Hop Instagram account. We have arrived at yet another shameful juncture in the meme wars. Maybe people at the tip top of the Democratic political bureaucracy should not allude to their familiarity with the low-down internet. It's so lowbrow, memes. Parenthetical, or as the meme maker known as Dasharez1 said about the Bloomberg memes, stay out of our culture and we will stay out of your penthouse. Even before they got involved, the Dark Brandon meme was cringe. Okay.
All right.
It was cringe, guys.
That sentence is cringe. This whole article is cringe, if you
know what?
Really
You ask any Gen Z in your life, and using the word cringe is cringe.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, millennials. I know you were just catching on, but you got to stop. Even before they got involved, the Dark Brandon meme was cringe. Cringe is hyperlinked, by the way. I got to see what they hyperlinked
Probably
for cringe.
it's an Atlantic article. Cringe culture everywhere.
Oh, good. Depicting, as it did in many instances, Joe Biden sitting on the throne from Game of Thrones, which reportedly originated as Chinese anti-Biden propaganda. Or, as I've already mentioned several times, shooting lasers out of his eyes. I have also seen Dark Brandon memes in which Joe Biden turns into a rapper, a la the notorious RBG, or made to sport a full sweatsuit branded with the logo of Newport cigarettes, as well as gray cornrows. That last image is so horrible that it left me breathless.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta see this. You know, and the funny part is, oh, I'm checking. The made to sport hyperlink.
Yeah, okay. That's the hip hop one there, isn't it?
Checking, loading. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yep, it is exactly as described. And it's from the tweet that describes, or that posted it, called it Dark Brandon 2024. And it's Dark Brandon, laser eyes, gray cornrows, smoking some Newports in a full Newport branded tracksuit. Cool. That is so cool. Good job, Left. On the theory that I might be missing something, I reached out to an avowed Dark Brandon fan and asked her to explain and defend the phenomenon. Allison Gill, a co-host of the political news podcast Mueller, She Wrote, and the Daily Beans, told me that the memes are simply funny. Joe Biden is the opposite of Trump, and he is the opposite of terrifying. To turn, quote, one of the kindest men in Washington into a laser-eyed menace, she said, is antithetical and awesome. These millennials, man, these millennials and their irony is breaking the brains of the Atlantic here. I asked her whether she'd considered the possibility that the memes were perhaps actually really embarrassing. Quote, Dark Brandon is ironic, she claimed. Look, and this is the point here. So this person that she's talking to is saying, like, yeah, it's a meme. It's ironic. It's supposed to be funny. And the writer of The Atlantic is saying, like, this is really embarrassing. This doesn't make Biden look good at all. This is like blah, 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 blah. It's a beautiful snapshot of kind of the Democratic establishment altogether. They're like, we don't understand it. We don't like it, but gets a lot of clicks. So, yeah, let's get the White House press secretary on it.
It's kind of China style. Just steal good ideas.
Right, exactly. Quote, Dark Brandon is ironic, she claimed, while the analogous Trump memes from MAGA posters are not. And this is where they lose it. This is where they lose it. And this is why they can't do it, because they don't realize that Trump memes, almost in their entirety, are ironic and are funny, and that's the point. It may make people like Trump more, but it's not supposed to be serious, and that they don't understand. Quote, they saw Trump as a bad donkey mother effer who's going to F people up. I suggested that the line between sincerity and irony might appear faint when someone offers straight-faced praise of Biden's political accomplishments and then posts an image of him licking an ice cream cone, holding up two $10 bills while a sizable explosion goes off behind him, or walking away from a Trump billboard in slow motion as the billboard topples over, or wearing aviator sunglasses, captioned with the acrostic, quote, bringing respect and needed dignity back to our nation. Cool meme. Is this, we got to look at that one. What a hilarious meme. Biden wearing sunglasses, saying he's bringing respect and needed dignity back to our nation. Oh, that is bad. That is a bad one. Okay. Moving on.
It takes so long for everything to load on the computer.
It's the load. Yeah, don't worry. It's a bad meme. It just confirms the left can't meme theory.
Wow, this is
bad. It's just bad. Is this maybe an undesirable conflation of politics and fandom, and exactly the kind of behavior for which liberals look down at Trump supporters? And if it is not, wouldn't Democrats have to concede that both categories of images, Dark MAGA and Dark Brandon, are so absurd as to be obviously ironic?
Oh, come on. Come on.
Gil allowed that maybe some liberals really do desire to imagine Joe Biden as a gloomy avenger in a sinister eye patch after they spent years making fun of Trump supporters as flags and costumes and cardboard cutouts and saying that they would never engage in the same weird cult-like behavior. Perhaps the Dark Brandon trend really does have a whiff of hypocrisy. Quote, is this bringing us into weirdness, she said, considering the question. Quote, no, I think we're just celebrating a nice guy in an ironic way. I guess the irony is simply lost on me. That it's the end of the article. And you can tell that, wow, my gain got boosted again. You can tell that they continue to miss the point, which is they like want to participate in meme culture. They want the influence that good memes bring. They want the camaraderie and the unity of something like Dark MAGA or a meme with Trump with laser eyes, can bring to the internet community. But they don't want to be weird. They have this sort of like, yes, we want all the benefits of memeing, but we don't want people to think that we're unserious like those MAGA people, those goofballs. No. We want memes that make you think and really inspire you to social action or something. And I think they didn't mean to here at The Atlantic to really finally answer the question of why the left is so bad at memes. I don't think they meant to do that, but I think they unequivocally answered that question. The left is weird at memes, is bad at memes, because they don't want to be weird. They don't want to be considered unserious. And they don't understand that is exactly what, it's not the only thing that is bringing lots of people to the right, but I think it's definitely a part of the draw, the appeal of the right, is that, especially on the internet, they have an ability to be so unserious and weird that it at least brings a little bit of joy into supporting the right or supporting Trump. There's at least some fun to be had, whereas the left, or Democrats mainly, they are not having fun on the internet.
Well, it's indicative of the pendulum swing here because, as the left was rising and, Democrats came into power and culture and everything else in the last 20 years or so, they were the ones having fun. They had all the comedians and the actors. Oh, they're having so much fun. And
they were
now,
anti-establishment. They had all the funny people.
Now they became the establishment. And so the counterculture will be created, and thus the right, conservative, whatever, Republican side of the aisle picked up on that aspect of it. And, of course, people are naturally drawn towards humor in this sense. So, yeah, it makes sense. And they're trying to, the people that came to the top, the Democrat left progressives that are at the top, they don't want to lose control. They don't want to lose influence. They don't want to lose power. But culture does what culture does. You can't control culture in that way. At least authors like this lady here who wrote the book, Everything I Need to Get From You, How Fangirls Created the Internet as We Know It. And do you see the cover of this book, Basil? It's like its own cringe. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like she did it on paint or something.
Oh no, yeah, it's like a sort of Instagrammy vibey, sort of abstract color gradient thing in the background with a bunch of heart emojis all around it, just randomly different colored heart emojis. Yeah, it looks like a bad Instagram post from like a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And it says, everything I need, I get from you. How fangirls created the internet. Yeah, I mean, that could be. See, if that isn't ironic, and here's the difference. It's very ironic. As an ironic book cover, it works very well.
Right.
It communicates the ridiculousness of the premise.
She's 100% serious.
Exactly. If it's not ironic, it's incredibly bad. And I think that's a great example of the left wanting the influence of memes, but not wanting to be seen as ironic or silly. And it just is... Well,
sad. It's sad.
If I may borrow a term that has fallen out of fashion, it is cringe. And this is a big, I know that a lot of people maybe don't quite yet understand why tracking this meme culture is so important. But I'm telling you, if you are a person on the internet, meme culture has an invisible, unstoppable force in your life on the internet. And knowing what's going on behind the curtain or below the surface will help you understand what you see on the internet more than anything else.
I was thinking we should do a caca challenge. That's how we can go viral. We'll just get people to film themselves doing a really, really loud caca and then think outside the cage.
Yeah, why not do a bunch of cringe stuff? Dang, did I really take 20 minutes on that whole thing?
Over 20 minutes breaking
I'm
it down.
sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to drop a couple stories and
here's what I think we should do.
Okay.
We need to at least move money.
Okay.
Don't you think we need the money?
We do need to do that. Yeah, I was very hesitant to drop it.
Let's drop that down in the next section.
Okay.
Apologies, I took all the time, folks, but I do think you should take the meme wars seriously because we are literally watching the meme wars decide presidential elections. And we will save one article for next episode, and we will move one down to the next section and take a really quick break.
Break.
It's time for a break.
Let's start with some voicemails. What do you say?
You want to do the voicemail first? Okay.
I think so.
Switch it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm experimenting.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
That's right. If you go to canarycrynewstalk.com, you'll see a green tab. It'll be on the bottom or the right-hand side. Click on that. a message right there on the website. It's pretty cool. And you are, when you leave a message, you're giving us permission to play the message, but it's not guaranteed. Who's left us some messages?
Got a couple here. First one from Mr. Mondoc Bakken.
Basil, this is Bill Gates, and I've heard that you thought Mr. Mondoc Bakken was Bill Gates, and you are correct. I was trying to infiltrate Canary Cry News Talk because of all your fake news on climate change. Hey guys, just kidding. This is Mr. Mondoc Bakken, and just wanted to say keep doing what you're doing, and you encourage a lot of people, so we appreciate you guys. And I'll keep encouraging all the mooches to get demooched. All right, talk to you guys later.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mondoc Bakken. You had me going there for a second. I thought we finally got him. We finally got Bill Gates to call in.
Yeah, that's our big goal.
And thank you for encouraging the mooches. We love the demooches, and thank you to everybody who's been encouraging all the demoochings, and thank you to all those becoming demooched. It's really special, not just because of the support that we receive when you get demooched, although that is wonderful as well, but also because it's usually somebody who's been listening for years and has heard to perhaps thousands of pitches for the value for value model and just finally got it. It finally clicked and supported the show. And as we always say, not every single producer has to produce every single episode, but as long as people are being honest and generous, the show can keep going. Thank you, Mr. Mondoc Bakken.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's good to hear your voice, the voice behind the threats, I guess. All right, thank you, Mr. Mondoc Bakken. We got another one from Rochelle.
Happy Friday. Thank you, producers. I love this show. Well, here's one for the patriotic theocrats or the theocratic patriots. Yeah, okay, both. My God is bigger than your government. Sit back and watch him keep his covenant. My God is calling on all his elect. Sit back, he's the one who will protect as we breathe in his breath of life. Realize his word cuts like a knife as we watch him let the devil sift. Realize his ground will never shift. They will start to tear the world down. He comes, blood stains on his gown. They claim they own the iron rod. He comes, makes them proclaim he is God. All right, sorry guys, that was a rough one. I'm in my car. Anyway, stay strong for Jesus. We got a bunch of yucky stuff flying our way. And don't lose sight of the one who really comes to settle the score. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. How fun.
Yeah, good stuff. Always good. Always fun. And I know if you're in your car doing it, that's where you practice singing. In your car. I mean, that's where I practice my singing. I don't want anybody else to hear me, but Rochelle, getting it done. Thank you. Appreciate it. You still there?
Yeah.
Or did you just decide to?
No, I said my thank yous. I was waiting for the next one. Do we have another one?
I think that's it. Unless another one came in between.
Not that I know of.
I think that's it.
That's not my job. I am looking. No, I'm sure that's it.
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for everybody leaving us voicemails. And again, anybody out there can do it. Go give it a try. Okay, we got a few people to thank who came in under the 777 cutoff. We're going to thank them real quick. Starting with Sir Scott, Knight of Truth. 181 episodes in a row.
181.
Call in the street. Best thing on 2 feet.
I've just arbitrarily decided that anybody over 180 is a streak setter.
Okay. Next up, we got Veronica D. 157 episodes in a row.
The street.
Next up, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 192 episodes in a row.
All in the street. Fast thing on 2 feet.
Last but not least, we got Rump Smash on 18 episodes in a row.
This is Charlie November Tango. You are approaching supernova. Repeat, you are approaching supernova.
You've gone supernova again, Runk Smash. Thank you very much. Okay, let's do knighthood.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get my katana out here.
Okay. Let me put this ice pack, cool me off a little bit. Hold on. Sorry, my sword just fell on the ground here. I got it now. Okie doke. You are to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you thanks to your generous support. In the amount of $1,000 or more, or $500 on episode 500, we are proud to pronounce you Lady Dame AR IRL. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteous righteousness, the custom-fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, and the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling, and if you're hungry, we have Fancy Feast wet food, carved Cosmo the CRISPR cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Lady Dame AR IRL. That's right, chat. Remember, who keeps this show going is producers like Lady Dame ARIRL. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll make sure to update the website here when we get a chance. I think we got a few Knights and Dames we got to update the website with.
Definitely go to canarycrynewstalk.com/roundtable. Is that right? And
yes.
If you are a knight or a dame, go check to make sure your name's on there. And if it's not, just send us a note. We'll update it. I know we'll
update it. We are also
keeping that up.
We are starting to get some help with the website as well.
Thank goodness.
Hopefully this does not persist any longer than it has to.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is it for this break.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
All right, because we missed it on the first little, or second, whatever, third, we missed it. We're going to get into it real quick here. So this is an article from the Jerusalem Post. We've been kind of tracking the IRS and some of what they're doing there. The headline here is...
this is an interesting outlet for this story, but still worth it.
I think there's a reason for that. But let's see what it says. The headline here is, new IRS will have more soldiers than the entire Israeli army. Senator Kennedy. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Senator John Neely Kennedy, Republican.
Oh, this is John Neely Kennedy. Mm-hmm. This isn't even Robert Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. Claimed on Thursday that the recent economic bill passed by the Senate would double the size of the IRS and that it will have, quote, more agents or soldiers than the entire Israeli army. Well, is that really? I don't know if that's true, but the claim was made.
Well, they have 80, and they're going to put another 80 in there, so it'd be 160,000.
Oh, sure, that's pretty big. Yeah,
I'll look up the Israeli army.
I think you might say it in here too. The claim was made in a live television interview with Fox News. According to a 2021 assessment by the International Institute for Strategic Studies, the IDF has approximately 169,500 active personnel. The IRS currently has about 80,000 employees, according to the Associated Press. This includes much more than just enforcement officers. There are clerical workers, customer service representatives, and others. The AP further cited Natasha Sarin, the Treasury Department's counselor for tax policy and implementation, explaining that the Inflation Reduction Act is meant to fund increased efforts to crack down on high-level tax evasion. Janet Holtzblatt, a senior fellow at the Tax Policy Center and former Treasury officials said that the nearly $80 billion promised by the bill will also pay for general improvements at the agency, such as tech updates. Oh, boy.
And the guns, and the ammo, the literal machine guns that they're ordering.
It's awaiting vote in the House. We know about this. So that's Senator Ted Cruz tweeted out the Manchin-Schumer bill will create 87,000 new IRS agents to target regular, everyday Americans. Stop Biden's shadow army. Senator Ted Cruz.
Ted, come on, Ted.
He should have said stop the dark Joe Army or something.
Yeah, Dark Brandon.
Dark Brandon, sorry, yeah. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene claimed in an interview with the Post-Millennial, a conservative Canadian publication at the Conservative Political Action Conference that, quote, it's going to hire 87,000 new IRS agents and it's going to arm, as in guns, you know. Democrats are always upset about guns. 70,000 of these IRS agents.
Thank you for pointing that out.
End of article.
Marjorie, that's the end.
That's the end. But, you know, more disturbing.
I mean, that is an interesting statistic, or I don't know, is an interesting comparison.
Gosh, what happened to this website? This website is falling apart. Yes, yeah. So it's interesting, and certainly, yeah, okay, sure. You can compare numbers and stuff, but I mean, how many? There are organizations that are larger than 170,000 employees or something, so you can technically say that the Coca-Cola has more employees than the Israeli army. I mean, I guess it's a little different because it's tax, but
yeah, but the Coca-Cola employees aren't going house to house and
they go house to house,
wrestling up.
They are secretly trying to kill everybody with their heart attack serum that they make everybody drink. So I mean, you know, it's not. I don't think it's any better, but
make everybody drink.
Yeah, the one thing that's interesting, and this was shared around, was the IRS jobs website. So jobs.irs.gov. And they have a page here. We're hiring special agents now. And it goes through some key requirements and things like that. But, you know, something interesting happened that I think people pointed out. And it was quickly changed upon the troublesome language that was on this page. Now, I'm showing you this from an archived version. This is, again, it's the same thing, the IRS careers page here. We're hiring special agents now. It talks about who we are. And then there's a... Let's see. Yeah. Major duties segment with bullet points. And some of the major duties adhere to the highest standard of conduct, especially in maintaining honesty and integrity. Sure. Yeah. Work a minimum of 50 hours per week, which may include irregular hours and be on call 24/7, including holidays and weekends. Okay.
A minimum of 50 hours a week is a lot of hours.
Well, they don't care about your life or your well-being.
No, they do not.
Yeah. Maintain a level of fitness necessary to effectively respond to life-threatening situations on the job. So when you're not answering phone calls 50 hours a week, you better be on that treadmill because you better be ready for any life-threatening situation. And then the big one that was deleted: carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary. What? Why is the IRS jobs page saying that some duties, major duties of working for the IRS is to carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force if necessary?
Yeah, it seems like a little much. And if you're trying to convince the American public that you're not trying to start a little army bigger than the Israeli army, putting it directly on the job posting, you got to be willing to use deadly force, is a pretty hard one to kind of scoot around, huh?
They also have be willing and able to participate in arrests, execution of search warrants, and other dangerous assignments.
Ooh, bad timing on putting search warrants in the job description.
I know. So, they've changed that. They took out the deadly force. Let's see. They still have the willing to arrest, execute search warrants, and other dangerous assignments.
Yeah.
So, if you want to be part of the IRS army here, you gotta be willing to kill.
I wonder if and how they are going to be able to fill 87,000 roles. I mean, you really have to be making some serious ideological, compromises, right? I mean, it's one thing to just like be an IRS agent because you need a job and you got a degree in accounting or something. But then to hear it's part of your job, you got to carry a gun and potentially kill someone. It's pretty crazy.
You know what this could be? I'm trying to think of like the jobs department here at the IRS and what they might have been thinking. I mean, the pendulum is swinging right. And so maybe they're like, oh, maybe we can if you can't beat him, you should join him, right? So with that kind of sentiment, it's like, well, we got all these like libertarian types out there. Maybe we can recruit them to be part of the
That's
the
how
IRS.
Yeah, that's how we'll get all these libertarians to work for the IRS.
You can carry a gun, you can kill on site. There you go. Join the IRS. Come America, let's go.
Horrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's check on some sinkholes here.
Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
Climate change. Climate change. Climate change.
Mass extinction.
Now you are cooking. Can I get 2 hamburgers?
Yes, sir.
With French fries?
Yes, sir.
What about an omelet?
Sure. Got a couple eggs.
I like food. Food is good. I like food. Food is good.
This is coming from abc.net.au. Welcome to Sinkhole Village. Turkey's mysterious craters are swallowing up fertile farming land in the nation's breadbasket. The gaping pit next to Mustafa Akar's shed measured approximately 7 meters across and seemed to appear out of nowhere one afternoon.
Oh, just the size of 2 of those drones, those miniature drones.
Yes, the mini-bots.
the mini-bots.
The size of 2 tunnel drilling mini-bots. Mm-hmm. Only hours earlier, he had been sitting in that exact spot, cooling off in the shade after a hard day's work on his farm, tending to his flock. Peering down over the edge into the darkness, he noticed the pit had a enormous machine. I was just going to mention that. Quote, I was in a daze for a month after that, Mr. Akar said. The farmer from Turkey's Konya province now avoids walking on his property at night for fear he might trip and fall to his death. Oh, no. Across the plateau, farmers and townsfolk have reported similar occurrences, strange holes appearing without notice and seemingly at random. All told, scientists have counted approximately 2,500 sinkholes around the Konya Basin, a sprawling plain in the country's agricultural heartland. About 700 of those are deep pits, mostly concentrated around the town of Karapnar, according to the Fethullah Arik, which leads sinkhole research at Konya Technical University. Well, that's convenient. They have a sinkhole research department at the university right next door.
It happens enough.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're tipped off on the CERN experiments, the robots underground.
Yeah. He says the number of sinkholes in the area has sharply risen in the past decade. Yeah. One sinkhole in 10 years would be a sharp rise in 0 sinkholes, not 2,500. Every day, Professor Arik and his team of researchers scour the countryside to log and measure new sinkholes. Some extend dozens of meters below the surface, others are shallow recesses. Some appear in paddocks, some in cornfields, other near village streets. Many are too deep for sunlight to reach the bottom. Oof. All of them bear the same telltale cylindrical shape leading downward to murky depths. Quote, the sinkholes are geologically beautiful, but human lives are at stake, Professor Ulrich said. Records of human casualties caused by the sinkholes are hard to find, but the sudden appearance of so many in the last decade has alarmed nearby villagers. Quote, we have a reason to be worried, said Erdogan Chuhadar, a lifelong sheep farmer from Baruk Koyu, who translates literally as sinkhole village. If a sinkhole is too big and there are houses around, it will bury everything together. Mr. Akar, the farmer who discovered a sinkhole beside his shed, has had trouble wrapping his head around the sudden silent phenomenon. For those who have made their living from cultivating the land, the sinkholes have shaken what was once certainty of the very ground underfoot. What's more, one destroyed part of the shed Mr. Akar used to house livestock, he has since begun erecting a timber frame for a replacement shed on the other side of his farmhouse. The sinkhole has even driven his children away, no longer interested in work on the farm since the pit appeared. They move elsewhere in pursuit of other careers. It sounds like they were just looking for a reason to leave.
The sinkholes are the reason why
I don't
they
know,
left.
Dad. I'm want to support the family business as much as I can, but I cannot abide these holes in the ground. Meanwhile, Mr. Akar has accepted there's little he can do to prepare in the event that another sinkhole suddenly appears. I can't do anything, he shrugged one hot afternoon in the fields behind his house. We will do the same as we always have. Then we get into it.
Yeah, why is this happening? Can tell us, ABC.
Climate change and farming are contributing to the sinkhole problem.
Really? Climate change and farming?
Climate change and farming
are contributing. The two scariest things.
The underlying factor for so many new sinkholes in the last decade has been drought, which has become more intense with climate change. Yearly rainfall has waned, leaving crops parched. They seem pretty sure of this for such a mystery. To cope, many farmers have turned to wells that pump water from natural underground reservoirs to irrigate their farmland, which in turn weakens the earth and can lead to sudden collapse. I don't know about that. Lots of people have wells. I have a well. I ain't got no sinkholes. Yeah, but it's not
combined with the drought caused by climate change.
Well, beyond the roughly 35,000 licensed wells in the region, there are about 3 times as many illegally dug. It's hard to know the exact number. On top of that, cattle farming has increased, and water-intensive crops like corn are now grown far more, making agriculture in the region increasingly unsustainable, Professor Arik said. 15 to 20 years ago, corn was not grown around here, but now it's corn everywhere. So corn is causing the sinkholes.
Convenient, too, and pretty big ingredient in food.
Then it kind of goes on saying, because of the drought, they rely on the groundwater, and the groundwater is apparently the water has been keeping the earth up. Talks about more wells, more wells. The water draws people in. Our mothers used to come here to wash the wool. This is talking about a little pond thing that they had there. Over the intervening 4 decades, the depth of the lake has plunged to a fraction of what it once was. As he makes his way to the edge of the lake, then it goes into a lake. Climate change killing this lake. Okay, we get it. Like everyone else in this region, Mr. Sudhar cannot fathom what life will look like when the lake runs dry. Okay, so they just keep talking about this lake. We went from sinkholes to lakes. I don't think this is correct. I just don't think it's correct. Look, I'm no sinkhole scientist.
Hey, I was going to say, are you part of the sinkhole department over at the university there, sir?
Apparently, sinkhole scientist is an actual job. But, there's other places in the world that have a bunch of wells digging up the water, and these sinkholes are not happening there, including the Chilean sinkhole.
Yeah.
That thing keeps growing too. And that is by a quarry. That's not even in a farmland that I know of. Now, have you seen you don't watch much Amazon Prime, do you? It's called Open Range.
No.
You seen Open Range?
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's kind of, there you go. So, Open Range, I started watching it. It's a show about I think it's a ranch in Wyoming or somewhere like that, and a really, really big ranch, like thousands of acres or something. And this cattle rancher, finds a giant sinkhole on his property. And it sounds like the size of like the Chilean sinkhole, and it's perfectly round. And I'm only a few episodes in, but long story short, it's aliens or something. There's aliens or something making these sinkholes, or this sinkhole on his property.
Yeah.
And, you go in the sinkhole and you can travel time and things like that. We're going to talk about UFOs at the end of the show. But there are a lot of things going on in the UFO world, even declassifications that the normal person who just gets their UFO stuff from mainstream media or whatever, the congressional hearings, things like this, wouldn't know about. There is an enormous amount of UFO activity going on right now. And Congress is actually doing a pretty good job of creating an atmosphere where declassification might actually happen.
Yeah.
Now, I think aliens are making the sinkholes. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Something is making the perfect roundness. Like, why would it be perfectly round?
Here's a theory, okay? The aliens used to have the crop circle making technology. They hand it off to Dark Brandon, and Dark Brandon is just, he's like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
He turns up the power a little too high.
A little too high, and instead of
burning
design,
a circle in a cornfield, he cranks it up and burns a hole through the earth.
Hey, anything's possible. I am reminded, Revelation 12 here talks about from verse 15, then from the mouth of the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away in a torrent. But the earth helped the woman and opened its mouth to swallow up the river that had poured from the dragon's mouth. Kind of sounds like a sinkhole helping out the woman there who's being chased by the dragon.
Sounds like a sinkhole to me, man.
So this Turkey land here, Holy Land.
Yeah. Good joke.
Good dad joke.
Good joke. What is up with these sinkholes? And it's happening all around the world, too.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing, but it is interesting to see it come up again. And just, it just in general, as a theme, I've noticed that sort of UFO adjacent topics are really hitting the mainstream. We didn't bring it here, but Tucker Carlson just did an interview about the cattle mutilation. It's all going mainstream with Tucker Carlson talking about it. That's like stuff that, the Marzulis and stuff are talking about for 20 years and other UFO researchers. So it is interesting that the culturally everyone's picking up on all these topics, the UFO adjacent topics. But this is fascinating because they don't mention, they're not coming at it from that angle. They're coming at it from an academic angle and providing potential reasons for this. And of course, blame farmers, blame climate change, which is right in line with their whole messaging. So not surprising whatsoever.
Well, and I love that climate change is the reason.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, what are these things? Where are these holes coming from? I think the aliens are blasting holes in the earth. Yeah. Just call it climate change. Climate change has done all the other stuff. We could just add this. What's adding one more list of disasters?
Yeah. DM in the chat. Kevin Bacon. Tremors. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
It is Tremors.
Yeah, those big worms under the ground. If you can't touch the sand, or it'll get you. It'll know you're there.
Well, even in the sort of declassification, the new UFO hunting department in the government, the all medium. What is it? Transmedium, all domain UFO
what was
thing.
The name of the? We had transmedium crafts or capable crafts, which was supposed to be it can travel between space, airspace, and underwater.
Well, if it's truly transmedium, maybe it can go under the ground too.
Yeah, well, maybe some of the robot technology we covered in the Flippy update today was part of the slow disclosure.
It's a bunch of nanobots. Yeah, a bunch of nanobots in a trench coat that calls itself Elon Musk. Is just digging around in Turkey and Chile.
Yeah, it's just a slow disclosure of all the things, including the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. Maybe they're really building it out. The population of the deep underground military base is getting a little big. We got to pull resources from above the ground, and so climate change and farmers go down.
Yeah, what a convenient I mean, it's so great reset-y too.
It is.
Blaming it on climate change and farmers.
Right. It's perfect.
Why are there sinkholes? Because of farmers. We need to move all food production to our lab-grown soy protein factory or whatever.
And we need it to be in space because obviously on the ground it'll just sink.
Sure. All right.
Okay.
What else we got here?
Well, we're gonna read an article about COVID.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19, yes.
COVID-19, COVID-19.
Vaccine, number one way.
Right. So this is normally the time where we would cut off the YouTube and then we would have everybody switch over to another outlet, including Twitch. But we are currently banned from Twitch. And almost everybody right now is on YouTube. But we decided we're going to keep everything going. We're going to keep YouTube going. And we are just going to read an article, a mainstream article from CNBC, and offer little to no comment because there will be nothing that needs to be said that you will not think for yourself, dear listener. And we are going to try our best not to get kicked off YouTube for reading a mainstream article again. So let's give it a go. Are you doing this or me, Gons?
I don't know. I did the last one, or you did the last one. I'll do it.
I think I did the last one.
Yeah, okay. CDC eases COVID guidance as U.S. has more tools to fight the virus and keep people out of the hospital.
Okay.
CNBC.com, written by Spencer Kimball. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention eased its COVID-19 guidance on Thursday, saying the virus now poses a much lower risk of severe illness, hospitalization, and death compared to earlier in the pandemic.
Okay, the virus now poses a much lower risk. What a wonderful piece of news.
Yay. Yes, this is good news. The CDC no longer recommends testing people in schools who don't have COVID symptoms.
Wow, that's so logical of them. Oh, I can't. Sorry. It's hard to not make comments.
Yeah, don't make any comments.
We're just affirmation. Is affirmation of the mainstream reporting.
Okay. Yeah, the CDC is doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Its previous strategy so CDC no longer recommends testing people in schools who don't have COVID symptoms. Its previous strategy to catch possible infections and head off outbreaks. But such screening is still recommended in certain high-risk settings, such as nursing homes, prisons, and homeless shelters. And people who aren't vaccinated no longer need to quarantine if they have been exposed to COVID, according to the new CDC guidance. Instead, public health officials now recommend that these individuals wear a mask for 10 days and get tested on day 5. A sign outside of the hospital advertises COVID-19 testing on November 19th, 2021 in New York City.
You reading a caption to a picture here?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm doing a text only, so maybe that is right. Okay. The CDC, in a report published Thursday, said there is a high level of immunity in the population from both the vaccine and infections, which means the virus now poses a much lower threat to public health. Greta Massetti, a CDC epidemiologist, said the U.S. has the vaccines and treatments needed to fight the virus, but it remains crucial for everyone.
They're talking about Paxlovid there, huh?
Sure. But it remains crucial for everyone to remain up to date on their vaccines, according to the Public Health Agency. Of course. Yes, of course.
Crucial.
Quote, this guidance acknowledges that the pandemic is not over, but also helps us move to a point where COVID-19 no longer severely disrupts our daily lives, end quote, Massetti said in a statement. So it no longer severely disrupts our daily lives.
Okay. The virus itself.
Yeah.
Not the responses or anything. No.
Yeah. The changes in CDC guidance come as public health officials have warned that the U.S. could face a major wave of infection in the fall and winter as immunity from the vaccines wanes off and people gather indoors to escape the colder weather. Thought it was getting hotter, but the U.S. has repeatedly faced new Omicron subvariants that are more transmissible than previous versions of the virus, which has led to stubbornly high levels of infection. The dominant version of the virus right now is Omicron BA.5, which caused infections to increase during the spring and summer and early summer. Then it goes into what to do if you test positive. Do we need to get into all the details here? I don't know that we do.
There's just a couple little things.
Sure.
And I'll take it from here.
Yeah, okay. It's not that much longer, actually, so if you want me to just
either way,
through.
Well, it's kind of long. I don't know.
No, it's not
there's
that
just
bad.
a couple little points here.
Okay.
People with healthy immune systems, regardless of vaccination status, should isolate for 5 days after testing positive for the virus, but you can end isolation at day 6 if you have not had symptoms or if you have not had a fever for 24 hours and the other symptoms have improved, according to the guidelines. So regardless of vaccination status. So this is fun. So if you're vaccinated or not, you have the exact same instructions from the CDC. Isn't that nice that we're no longer sort of separating people out and by their vaccination status? Everybody has the same instructions, whether or not they receive the vaccine. It says a lot. I'm not saying anything, but somebody might. After leaving isolation, you should wear a high-quality mask through day 10 after your positive test. If you have had 2 negative rapid antigen tests, you can stop wearing your mask earlier. So, yeah, if you're not sick, according to the guidelines. But you should avoid people who are more likely to get sick from COVID, such as the elderly and people with weak immune systems, until at least day 11.
Okay, never mind. I was going to say something about
no, there's
people.
Nothing to say.
Yeah, okay.
We are just
avoid
reporting.
people who are likely to get sick from COVID, like old people and people with weak immune systems. Got it.
Exactly. People with weakened immune systems, those who have been hospitalized with COVID, or those who have had shortness of breath due to the virus, should isolate from others for 10 days. When? Why?
Still, huh?
Those who have been hospitalized with COVID. If you have been in the past,
and you get it
or
again?
if you have shortness of breath, you should isolate from others for 10 days. They do not give sort of the catalyst event for why somebody should isolate, but okay. But people with weakened immune systems and those who are hospitalized should also consult a physician before ending isolation. If you end isolation, but your COVID symptoms worsen, you should return to isolation and follow the guidelines from scratch again, according to the CDC. The U.S. is currently reporting, and then it goes into the numbers and says it's an undercount and hospitalization rate, 6,000 people a day, about 67%.
Yeah, 400 dying every day, it says here, on average from the virus.
Okay, on average, okay. About 67% of people in the U.S. are fully vaccinated, according to the CDC, but only 48% of those who received their first 2 shots got their recommended booster dose, and just 30% of children ages 5 to 11 are fully vaccinated, according to the data. Well, that should be good news. It doesn't seem to be as bad of news for low booster data. Because whether you're vaccinated or not, you have the exact same instructions. So, there you go. No comment. That is the news from your CNBC mainstream news outlet. Totally acceptable to YouTube's terms of service. And with that, let's take a break.
I mean, come on. Give me a break.
This Don't just consume the content, but
become the content. Become the content.
This is our break where we thank our talented producers. We call upon our listeners to step up and become producers of the show by contributing with their God-given talent. Don't just consume the content, but actually provide value back by building the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. All we ask is that whatever you make is for the show. And we got some audio production to go through here to kick things off.
Audio production.
Our first one comes from Marty B.
Biden's your Marty B jingle.
Yes. Here's a note. I hope this will solve a problem. During the pause, you say the highest numbered streaks each show. Whoever did the monkeypox jingle really kicked my butt. Would you use this new version of Glorify and maybe play it at the end of the show? Okay, so he's got a couple here. The first one is the streak number here. So let's try this one.
The great
streak number.
Streak number. Is that like a bed that we play for the underlying streak number?
I think something, yeah. During the pause, you say the highest numbered streaks each show. Yeah. So we
the
have the
highest numbered streaks. Is there vocals in that, or was that a guitar?
Kind of like a thing. I think it does say streak, and let me play it again.
The great
streak number.
Streak. Oh, maybe that.
The break is when we're supposed to say it.
Yeah, maybe the pause is when. So if this is the highest number streak, so for instance, Sir Casey.
Sir Casey, yeah.
You'd say, and it's Sir Casey the Shield Knight. Then you hit it. Then in that.
You want to try it?
Yeah. Okay.
The great
streak number.
185. Okay. All right. I see. We can give it a try. That's kind of fun. It's kind of like a little game.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, we'll add that to the little. I mean, we'll see if I remember. My jingle board for the treasure is pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
We'll
big,
give it a try. We only got to do it once too, so that's nice.
Yep. He also did send a new version of Glorify. I'll play a few seconds of that, and then we'll play the whole thing at the end of the show here. It's a new version of the song Glorify, so we'll
love it.
Get through the whole thing there at the end. Thank you very much, Marty B. Appreciate it. We're going to move on here to Davey Frost. Davey Frost came in with a note. It says, "Hello, gentlemen. I have started to play around with jingle making, and here is my first attempt." And it's I think it's a Monday jingle here, so let's check it out.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Not bad, if you're new to digital or audio editing, that's pretty good. You get an ISO, and then you got the
I liked it. It was short, it was sweet, it was the right length. Mm-hmm. You could hear the vocals, and of course the Price is Right failure sound is always a winner.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Nice work.
Love it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Davey Frost. Next, we got Caleb. And he has a note. After listening to a recent episode, I was inspired to create a jingle. I figured you can use it as sewer surveillance jingle, perhaps. Ooh. If you don't use it, no biggie. I'm new to the jingle thing. So we got another new jingle person.
Well, that's good. We needed a new sewer surveillance, I think.
Yeah, so here we go. Let's check this out.
We'll control them with toileting.
Yeah, that's
Love
perfect.
It.
Perfect.
That
is exactly
short, sweet,
almost
legible.
what we did anyway. What we used to do anyway with the flush sound. So Perfect.
And you know I love hearing my own voice.
Yes, yeah,
that's always a winner, I'll tell you what.
Caleb also sent in what potentially could be an Africa or Afrofuturism jingle here.
We're going to
colonize
Africa! Yeah!
That is actually pretty good. I like it.
That was funny. Yeah. You know, it was fun too, because he did mention, like, I hope I got the theory right here, if I'm doing the theory. Yes and no. I mean, I think you've got our theory right, which is, you know, the sort of mainstream Afrofuturism is, you know, Africa is the future.
Right.
You know,
we're going to bring them out of poverty. This is the last place. We're going to technologically advance them to.
Well, you mixed ours. The secular Afrofuturism is that Africa is naturally the future. Like they are coming up. That Africans, or you know, people in Africa are becoming the dominant future economic force type of thing. But when you see the government get behind it, and the government starts pushing, and by that I mean the U.S. government, the UN, things like that, when they say, you know, Africa's coming up, what they mean is we are going to go colonize Africa and exploit it for a bunch of money. So yes, and as far as our, you know, reading of the Afrofuturism events, I think you nailed it.
Yep. Very well done. Appreciate it. That's it for the audio production, I believe.
Okay. Yes, you got Marty's.
Yeah.
You got Caleb's.
Mm-hmm. Got Davy Frost.
Davy Frost.
Is there more? I think that was it.
No, we did get that Magilla Gorilla.
Oh, that's right. No, I thought that. Oh, that's a video. I had it in a different segment. Yeah, we can do it now if you want.
Yeah, I think we should just play a piece of it.
Sure.
Let's see. How long is it?
It's a minute.
It's a minute.
18. Yeah, so Magilla Gorilla
play a minute.
Ape said, I had a message here. Shalom, brothers. Enjoying the show today. His ruach, that is, moved me to make this little ditty for y'all, utilizing my talents and such. Posted it as a private link. So here it is. We'll just play it here.
The Canary.
Radio.
The Canary. Radio.
Cry.
Find out, cry later.
Gosh, we'll meet my canary.
Radio.
Radiation Canary.
Now cry.
Smile.
A mile away up the room. And then she starts to cry.
Charlie, you like your smile.
All stations, this is Crystal Palace. Initiate emergency conference. Stand by.
I ordered a canary and I'm going to get a canary.
I cry.
Cry. They are burning up the radio with their new hit, Cry, Cry, Cry.
Oh, we just got doxxed.
I forgot about that.
Sing, you canary.
Cry!
Radio.
Hey, very good.
That was pretty fun. And for those
good.
who are just on the podcast listening side of things, it was like a bunch of clips from movies, TV shows,
Star Trek,
movies, TV shows, Star Trek.
Simpsons.
Yeah. And finding that must have been a lot of scouring to find all the canary, the cry, the radio.
Yeah, that's what I'll say is when you're editing something like this together, it takes a little bit of time to get all the clips, find the moments, and then line them all up. I like the Cuomo. I like having Cuomo in there too.
Yeah.
So well done, Magilla Gorilla Grape Ape. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's move on here and do some art.
One art, please.
And we will kick it off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One RC, another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And there is no haiku to accommodate this piece today, but it is referencing Whole Foods CEO retiring, saying that socialists are taking over. And actually, we skipped it because you went really long with the meme thing, but I thought we would, it's okay. We can kind of bring it up now. The Verge had an article, dozens of Whole Foods stores will soon let you pay with just a scan of your palm. And very, not Mark of the Beastie at all, to have your hand scanned to pay for things at Whole Foods. And, along with that, the article that was attached to this piece here. Do you have that pulled up, or do I have to find it here real quick? Okay, it's
the socialists are taking over. Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey has lamented in a recent podcast interview. In 6 weeks, I will retire from Whole Foods, and I have muzzled myself ever since 2009, Mackey said, referring to the op-ed he penned for the Wall Street Journal that year where he compared Obamacare to fascism. Quote, I was telling my leadership team pretty soon you're going to be hearing about Crazy John, who's no longer muzzled, and you're going to have to say we can't stop John from talking any longer. Okay, I did not know that this CEO of Whole Foods was such a wild man. And I also did not know what he looks like until Dame Allie drew this beautiful pencil portrait headshot of him. An excellently done piece of art, by the way. Lighting perfect, geography of the skin perfect, lizard eyeballs are perfect. Is he a lizard? Is he not a lizard? Is he transitioning?
Yeah, I was going to say, going on, there does appear to be some kind of transitioning. Not certain if it's into lizard or out of lizard, but perhaps
there's some sort of transition happening.
Metamorphosis taking place here.
This guy's got a pretty big head. He's kind of got like an alien head a little bit. So who knows? Got a lot of brains to fit up in there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much,
co-founder
Dame
of
Allie. And thank you, John Mackey, for something.
Yeah, for selling your company to Amazon. Letting Amazon take over. All right. Thank you very much, Dame Allie of the Skeleton Nation. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Ruspeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Oops. Where is the Sir Dove art? I had it up here. Uh-oh. What happened? Is this it? Yeah, here we go. Okay, we have a note for today's artwork. I did a flyer for the Oregon meetup on September 4th. Do you really get offended when I say that?
I don't get offended.
You always kind of point it out.
It's not the name of the state.
I say it's just for fun.
Oregon.
It's like saying California, All right, I'll send another next week for the monthly Garland meetup, or one of the other ones you mentioned on Wednesday's show. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you. And it's Dove.
Is it like Oregon, like it's gone?
It's
gone,
not
here.
Baby. It's gone. Oregon. It's no longer a free state, American state.
I'm going to
gone,
Oregon,
baby.
And then I will go to Nevada, and then
eat marinara.
In marinara. Okay. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. He's got a beautiful background image here, I'm assuming from Oregon. Beautiful lake, beautiful mountain, beautiful field. And it says Canary Cry Central Oregon Meetup, September 4th, the Podski Food Cart Lot in Bend, Oregon at 12 p.m. Contact Gabe Garcia 87 at yahoo.com. And we've got a derpy-eyed, googly-eyed canary lumberjack in a red beanie, red flannel shirt, carrying an axe, looking so manly. And behind him is a food truck, and it's the Canary Cry Foods Fried Wormicorns food truck. You think anybody's ever actually gotten rich from a food truck?
I don't know. Maybe if you win the food
I need
truck
to know
challenge.
this. Can you actually get rich from a food truck? It seems like so much work.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. Getting food trucks were kind of a thing, but before that, when I was growing up, we had people that would bring. Well, at least in my family, there was like a Japanese guy that would bring all kinds of Japanese food from it was a little from LA County. I was in Orange County, and they would just bring it was a huge truck with just Japanese food, and you'd get in there, you buy your fish and your meats and your vegetables and all that kind of stuff. And in hindsight, kind of creepy, little creepy, like nowadays
it was like a grocery truck.
Yeah a little shady. Yeah. It's like you raid the stores, you throw it all in your truck, and then you go drive a few miles down the road and sell it to people.
That is an interesting business model. I'm assuming that there was not a business license or a food handler's license for this.
Probably. That's what I'm saying.
Truck.
Probably a little shady, but hey, you got to do what you got to do when you're
got to do what you got to do. This is America, baby.
Yeah.
Sell food illegally first and ask for forgiveness later.
Yep. Very good. Yeah. So it's a great piece here. I think I've added it to the meetups page, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that because the things get lost here. Yep. It's already added there. So, yep. There you go. You can check it out at both locations on our website and on the meetups page. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove, for doing this. This is a wonderful service that you are providing with your art here. Because as we mentioned, I've heard it from multiple meetuppers is, really they want to do a meetup. They understand that it's easy, just go to a farmer's market or a restaurant or something or whatever on a Saturday. You got to do those things anyways. But it's just making a flyer is holding so many people back. So Dove, doing these flyers is really, really helpful. And I think perhaps part of why there's so much inspiration to put on meetups right now. So if anybody's been wanting to do a meetup and that's been holding you back, don't worry. Sir Dove will help us out. He is he's one of a kind, and there's so many things we couldn't do without him. Thank you, Sir Dove.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. Continue on. Okay, we have a piece from Pizza Rat. Let me just make sure I have the updated version here.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is. I didn't put the note in there. I don't know if there was a note worthy. This was from last episode, and we actually didn't get to it. And he sent us a newer
it came in
version.
late. Last episode is what it was.
And then we have I think he gave us a little bit of a cleaner version of it.
Yep.
You want to just describe what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. This was a sort of a 3-panel comic thing in regards to the pig breathing intestines story from last episode, I believe. And the first panel is Jesus, and there's the man in the graveyard there, the possessed man, Legion, and down at the bottom it has a little time card here, Palestine, AD 30. And you have Jesus holding up his hand towards the possessed man, and Jesus says, "Go!" And the demons from inside the man are saying, "Let us go into the pigs." And then in the next frame, you see all the pigs running into the water, as we're all familiar with that story. And then the last slide shows U.S. 2022 AD, and it's a picture of Yale University. And you just see there's a building here, presumably some sort of laboratory. And from inside the laboratory, you just hear, "Ah!" because they have started testing the breathing of intestines, which was originally tested on pigs underwater. They have just started human tests. So I love the way you think, Pizza Rat. When I saw this, I go, oh, maybe that's why pigs can breathe underwater through their butts, because the demons got driven into the water. And we've all always thought after that story, oh, poor pigs. All those pigs died in the water. But what if they knew that they could breathe through their behinds? And now Yale harnessing that secret occult knowledge to take our civilization into the next cybernetic, cyborg, chimeric, evolution of mankind.
Yeah, state of being. Yeah. Who needs lungs and nostrils and stuff to breathe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Pizza Rat.
Thank you, Pizza Rat. Appreciate it. And by the way, Pizza Rat also did give us the artwork for the Missouri meetup. So that one was done by Pizza Rat as well. He took one of the
AI. Yeah, he just sent that in. Do you have that up here?
It's already up on the meetups page. So
yeah, it's the Canary. Oh, I mean, do you have it up on the screen here? Because he did send it in. Yeah, Canary Cry Missouri meetup. And it's It is a recreation of the super creepy AI art of the alien canary with the spooky eyeballs. Of course, you got a little pizza rat down there in the bottom right-hand corner. But it is the Canary Cry, Missouri meetup. Thank you very much. August 27th and 28th in Ozark, Missouri and Branson, Missouri, respectively. Contact sundancer8910@gmail.com to RSVP.
Yep. Thank you very much, Pizza Rat. Appreciate your contributions. Next up, we have James Yu. If I'm not mistaken, James Yu. He said he went and did some stuff with more AI art. And the prompt that he used was Nephilim human hybrid reptilian giant, 6 fingers and toes, double rows of teeth, elongated skull. And the final
Very
render
specific.
is terrifying.
Yeah, the final render is a just horrifying image. It's only like a shoulders up headshot of the most terrifying creature I've ever seen. Sort of a humanoid with a big giant head, gray skin, multiple sort of weird eyeballs in the seemingly human eyeball holes. The sides of the head, instead of ears, is some sort of disastrous.
It looks like gills
mix
or something
between gills and holes and ears, and then right on its big bald wrinkly forehead are a bunch of scars. That's, if you kind of back up a little bit, it's in the shape-ish of the Baphomet star, and even more so, in the center of that star seems to be some sort of eyeball, and you can even kind of make out the Baphomet horns coming up out of the top. You can, like, at first glance, you're like, oh yeah, that's a Baphomet star with but then you realize, oh, an AI did it. So it's not quite perfect. It's really strange that it gives the impression of the star without actually fully forming it. But altogether, terrifying image. Thank you very much, James Yu.
Got a couple things about this. First off, it does remind me a little bit of Lamb. Remember the Aleister Crowley's Lamb drawing? Almost like a modern version of that drawing. So maybe there's some kind of spiritual tapping into Nephilim spirits there. Also, if you look at the face, I don't know if you see this, Basil. There's kind of a Faucian thing going on with his face.
I think it's the sunken eyes.
Yeah, maybe the cheeks or something with
the sunken eyes, the high cheekbones, and the really broad mouth.
Yeah, that's maybe what it is.
Fauci's got that big, wide, broad mouth. I can see that. Yeah, it's got a bit of a Fauci vibe.
Yeah, no, we're not making fun of Fauci. We're just saying
we're just
AI art looks kind of Fauci-ish.
Using our eyeballs to look at an image, and there seems to be a Fauci vibe.
All right. Thank you very much to all of our artists. We appreciate it. And the verdict is still out on whether or not we will continue with AI art on the show. But there's always weird and interesting.
Kudos to James for sending a single image, so we didn't have to choose.
Yes, appreciate that. All right, time for some microfiction. Microfiction.
Microfiction.
And the first one, I am told that is perhaps one of the most epic of the microfiction by Runk Smash.
Basil receives Agent Brown's email at the same time as our agent is explaining to the TSA what a keister breather is. And by the time the emergency episode is live, he's being served Adam Carolla's pretzel-flavored lizard people treats on the plane. Keister breather.
Keister breather.
Thank you very much, Runk Smash. Keister breather. That's hilarious.
That's branding right there for whatever the technology is going to be.
Yeah, that's the name of the implant once it's made it to market.
Yeah. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Runk Smash. We also got one from the Sentinel. The saga continues.
Johnny Cale defeats Allison Tick without mercy in the semifinals. Seeing Basil's kindness to an alpha boy in the round before has left his conscience divided. Instead of relenting from his satanic hatred, he chooses to be consumed by it. His eyes are now totally veiled by darkness. He and Basil face off in the final match of the first ever All-Valley Roller Skating Tournament. To win, each competitor must demonstrate to the judges and the crowd that they have mastered the art of alpha skating. They will do this by performing specific tricks, completing laps, and capturing the 2 flags on their opponent's belt. Only after they have completed their assigned tricks and laps are they allowed to capture their opponent's flags and win the title of Alpha Boy Supreme. Basil and Johnny take their positions on opposing sides of the ring. 3, 2, 1, hey!
Game on.
Game on. Thank you very much, the Sentinel. Haven't heard from Sensei Gons in a while.
He's quietly.
He's quiet.
He's
You're
taking
scheming.
a nap. Yeah. He's it's those movies, they disappear for a while and then they swoop in at an opportune time when all hope is lost.
It's the part of the movie where I have to.
You gotta do
it on my own.
You gotta do it on your own, and you think
Sensei isn't there always.
Yeah, and we'll get to a point where you're about to lose.
Maybe
it's
Sensei
about to end. Yeah. Oh, did you get cut out? I can't tell if you stopped talking or if you cut out.
Oh, yeah, I cut out.
Okay. Good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for contributing your talent to the show. You can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. And it is the Canary Cry artistes that they put in the legwork to creating and scribing and etching the history of the Canary Cry-averse into the stone tablet of the internet. And if you're a creative person, no matter what you do, if you're a musician or an artist or whatever, create something for the show. Send it on in to canarycryradio@gmail.com.
Time to wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Aliens. Aliens. There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
Now, you were telling me before the show, Basil, that you have gotten pumped about the UFO disclosure topic once again.
Yeah.
I don't know why you ever were pumped about it, but...
I don't know what happened. I just stopped sort of being the focus of my interest. I mean, there's a lot going on, Cons. Mm-hmm. A lot going on. Some very effective distractions from the UFO topic. But I hadn't listened to Joe Rogan in quite some time. Mm-hmm. But I caught one of his recent episodes with a UFO person.
Was it the one where we quoted the guy with the black cube, or is it a different dude?
Yeah, they talked about the bubbles with the cubes inside.
Yeah, okay, so it's I forget his name. We reported on the guy.
Yeah, we could look it up. It's what's his face, but his interview with Joe Rogan really got me pumped again on UFO stuff. I mean, there is so much more going on than even we really come in contact with, just because our job includes also paying attention to every detail of the Trump raid and every detail of the COVID situation and every day of so many things. We so rarely get to have the in-depth exploration of the UFO topic, and man, is there some big things happening. So I'm pumped, man, which is why I got pumped on this article that you brought here today.
Yep. All right. This is from the sun.co.uk, and the headline here: world's best ever UFO image. The Calvine photo. I hope I'm saying that right. Is it Calvin? I think it's Calvine. Showing 100-foot craft finally revealed after being hidden for, I don't know, the title goes off into thing there. So that's it. Okay, let's read the article.
Have you heard of this before? The Calvine image?
Yeah, yes, briefly. We'll
after
get
being hidden for 30 years.
Yeah, and I've known about it, but I think most people dismissed it because it was not a very good photo of it prior. So this is the story. Okay. This is the infamous UFO photo dubbed by some as the world's best, as it shows a huge diamond-shaped object pictured flying over the Scottish Highlands. The so-called Calvine photograph, which was for decades considered lost, has finally been uncovered after years of research by academic and journalist Dr. David Clark. I think that's the key here. It's not just some old UFO crackpot out there saying, I found a picture. Right. It's an actual guy, an actual academic and journalist. And we'll learn more about him in a second here. Showing what seemed to be a huge angular object flying over the Scottish Highlands with what appears to be a Harrier jet in the distance, the image is an extraordinary piece of the UFO puzzle. It was taken around 9 p.m. on August 4th, 1990, by two hikers on a hillside near Calvine, just off the A9, some 35 miles northwest of Perth in Scotland. The men, whose identities remain unknown to this day, claim they watched the metallic object hovering with a low hum for around 10 minutes, while fighter jets made passes in the distance. As they watched the jaw-dropping scene, the object, which is estimated to have been up to 100 feet long, then is said to have shot off at high speeds straight up into the sky, never to be seen again. But luckily, they seemed to capture the moment on camera, snapping 6 photographs of the diamond-shaped craft with a fighter plane in the background. The photos were then given to the Scottish Daily Record's newspaper, who in turn passed them to the Ministry of Defence, MOD. But for unknown reasons, the story was never published, and the photos vanished into the black hole of Whitehall. And so began the modern myth of the Calvine photograph, with the images never being seen by the public until now. Dr. Clark, who has worked with the curator for the MOD UFO Files project at the National Archives, and is an associate professor from Sheffield Hallam University, managed to track down the photo by seeking out former RAF press officer Craig Lindsay. Mr. Lindsay had kept a copy of the original photograph as he was the go-between who was liaising. Liaising. He was the liaison between the press and the MOD when the original story was probed in 1990. He had the original envelope sent by the Daily Record, and inside was one of the original photographs from Calvine. Ooh. The ex-RAF man agreed to hand over the photo to Dr. Clark and Vinnie Adams from campaign group UAP Media UK, and it has now been filed in the archives of Sheffield Hallam University. Mr. Adams told The Sun Online, quote, "It's been a privilege to work on this case with such a dedicated team of researchers." Quote, "After 32 years and an intensive investigation, it feels good to be able to show this elusive photograph to the world," end quote.
Oh, so close.
I know.
32.
I know. Well, maybe after 30, maybe it's the 33rd year.
In the 33rd year, yeah.
He added, quote, "We urge anyone with any information on the identity of the photographer or the case to come forward," end quote. And the photograph has been rediscovered just as UFOs once again take center stage in Washington, D.C. Lawmakers, former servicemen, and intelligence officials are now all speaking more openly about the traditionally fringe topic, including a landmark hearing on Capitol Hill. U.S. officials have acknowledged that there is something in the skies they cannot explain, and the stigma around UFOs is finally being stripped back. And there's a photo here, a black and white photocopy of the original from the National Archives.
I do remember this picture.
This is the one I think most people know about, or at least have seen if you've gone down the UFO rabbit trail. But it's such a bad photocopy.
You couldn't even tell what's going on. It just looks like a black diamond on a white background.
Right, yeah, you have no idea. It could have been somebody putting their... I don't know. What's a diamond shape like that? It's a little figurine or something in the photocopy machine.
Right.
And it's got some documents here. Much of the Calvine photo legend is built around reports of a big blown-up version of the image, which is claimed to have once hung on the walls at the MOD's so-called UFO office. The poster-sized photo, however, was allegedly removed mysteriously without a trace. It is a story often told by Nick Pope, who worked to investigate UFOs for the mod in the 90s and worked with Whitehall until 2004, who first revealed the tale in his 1996 book, Open Skies, Closed Minds. Mr. Pope claims the UK asked the US if the photo showed an experimental aircraft, only for the image to be taken away and never seen again. I think that answers the question, by the way.
Yeah,
and to further add to the mystery, the mod decided to withhold certain details of the case until 2076. I shall be very old in 2076, Basil.
Still before Pfizer wanted to release their documents.
Yeah. Pfizer's like, let the UFO files be released before our
if this
data.
timeline was kept, we would know the truth about UFOs before we knew the real information behind the Pfizer studies.
Yes, not fake news, by the way.
Not fake news. They said themselves they would release the information in 2095 or something like that.
Yeah. But this is understood to have been done to protect the names and addresses of those in the file, not as part of some wide-ranging cover-up. The National Archives file included a photocopy of an eerie black and white line drawing, something that only further inflamed the mystery around the case. There's a big map of Scotland there, north of Glasgow. Okay, but with all these questions, what exactly is the angular shape seen in the Calvine photo? Is it an elaborate hoax? A piece of never-before-seen secret technology, or perhaps more outlandishly, an alien spacecraft? We simply don't know for sure, with mod files from the time saying there is no definite conclusion regarding the large object. The craft is theorized to potentially be an experimental U.S. aircraft, possibly the semi-legendary Black Project, the Aurora.
Boring.
Okay. All right.
Don't bring up the Aurora. It's just a spy plane. Aurora was invented to keep us off the trail of the real craft.
I don't disagree with you. We'll skip all that. Well, it goes into some
kind
history.
of blah, blah, blahs for about 50 paragraphs after that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things going on. There's stuff going on that I didn't even know about. Now, again, I learned this from a guy on Joe Rogan, embarrassingly. Okay, I admit it. I would prefer to have found it out in other ways, but stuff that I did not even know about. And apparently, Ukraine right now is having like a ton of UFO activity.
Oh, really? Ooh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
that's where half the stuff that we're sending him, that's where it's going, to the intelligence vehicles.
Yeah.
Weapons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's part of the U.S.'s military aid packages.
Yeah,
we sent them some old, outdated UFO crafts to conduct some things. Our old crummy UFOs, so we can get the taxpayers to pay for some new ones for us.
Makes sense that the U.S., they've been at this for decades, so they have good control of the technology. They can make beautiful art on the side of UK fields with elaborate designs. But now the Ukrainians have it. They're new to the technology, and so they're blasting it all over, and they're poking holes in Turkey.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The Turkey sinkholes are just kind of some stray shells from the stray laser blasts from the UFOs we've lent to the Ukrainians. No wonder no wonder they needed so many billions of dollars.
It only makes sense.
Most of it is taken up by the UFO budget.
That it does kind of. I remember when. Early on, many years ago, when we were doing this, there was a big article. I can't remember the outlet. Maybe it was like Wired, or it was one of the mainstream outlets. And they had a big article, $50 billion for black projects.
Yes.
And I thought, $50 billion? I mean, that's a lot, but that's not a lot. And considering now they're sending, how much have we sent Ukraine? 10?
Well, it's approved for over 50.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, well, let's just move whatever the operations were in the U.S. regarding all that secret technology.
Yes.
Let's move it to Ukraine.
Again, it's the money laundering scheme.
But also, I think Russia probably is pretty advanced in this technology as well. Just my opinion. And so maybe, stationing our posts closer to Russia might be of interest for certain individuals of the breakaway civilization in the U.S. So
this guy was saying that they've even fired on some of them, and they don't think that it's the Russians' technology, because there was one that they spotted, and they saw the Russians firing missiles at it. Mm-hmm. So they're like, whose is this? We don't know whose this is. The Russians are shooting at it.
Yes, because
Ukrainians
your low-level military men are shooting at it doesn't mean that Putin
Good point.
Putin rides horses shirtless and UFOs on his weekends.
Yeah. There was one thing the guy said in the interview that kind of gave me a little bit of a chill at my spine. Was he said, there's just this feeling right now. There's just this feeling right now that the weight of the secret of UFOs is too much for like the world to bear.
Well, that's been
right
a thing.
now.
Yeah, that's been an argument for a long time that the public can't really handle it.
Yeah, and the weight. I mean, he's saying it's the other direction though. Like the weight of the secret,
intelligence.
Yeah, is too much, and it just has to come out. Feels like it's going to happen because they just everything's gonna snap. I think fits, and the reason it gave me a chill, because I don't know if he's aware of the Great Deception theory that we've talked about for almost a decade now, where once the time is right, the disclosure acts as like an false Christ, peacekeeping type of antichrist type of thing. And that's kind of how it was before COVID. For me, I actually was preaching in the late 2019 and was sort of struck with this feeling in the middle of it, of just like something big. I don't know what it is. Something's going to change. Everything feels something is something. I kind of like the sermon got really bad after I kind of gave into this thing. Like I was just stricken in the middle of it. Like something big is coming, everybody. And I don't know. And is anybody else? And everybody else was like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then like 2 months later is when COVID started.
Yeah. You and my wife, by the way, she also had dreams that were sort of in that direction. So
in that zone. Yeah. And so that's what when he said that, I'm like, oh, I know the exact feeling that he's talking about. I know I don't personally right now have that feeling about UFOs, but I know the feeling he's talking about, and things are moving in that direction.
Well, the other thing is the way the infrastructure of our federal government is being, I wouldn't say torn apart, it might be too strong of a word, but at least
the threat is there,
severely challenged, I would say. You play chicken like this with the two sides, somebody might
things start unraveling.
It starts unraveling, and then eventually, and maybe, and who knows, maybe the whole Trump thing has to do with this technology. Because he was boasting about it allegedly, right? And it's really easy to write a book if you're on the opposite side of the political aisle to be like, look at him. He thinks he's either dispelling secrets or saying things about our technology that we don't even have, with nuclear technology no one's ever seen and all this kind of stuff. Kind of aligns with, maybe Trump was privy to not just the stuff, but he's a time traveler. That's the other one, right? He's a time traveler.
Yeah.
And Ingerson, what's his name? The guy who wrote the book, The Last President, in like 1890 or something like that. Trump, there was a Baron Trump going to the inner Earth. I mean, there's all that weird stuff. There's the airships.
Yeah, it's like a 100-year-old novel or something.
Right. There's the airships that were drawn by, I forgot all the details now. I used to be able to spit all this out, but I haven't done my homework in a little bit with that stuff. And one of the airships that were drawn, that were seen, had a big Trump on it, stuff like that. So, maybe he is privy. Oh, also the Nikola Tesla connection to Trump's uncle. So there's a lot of weird stuff there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Trump is spoiling the cover-up a little bit in that regard, and maybe that's why they're going after him so much, is he's willing to release this information.
Well, Yeah, the declassified documents. Does he have UFO-related documents that they're trying to get back from him?
That would be
he talked about declassifying UFOs. Of course, he talked about declassifying lots of things.
Yeah.
Of pretty much none of which did he actually do. At least none of the fun ones.
If there was anybody that's going to come out and say the most outlandish thing, if you want plausible deniability, in the mainstream anyway, you let Trump do the revealing, right?
Sure. Yeah, plausible deniability, right?
She's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
I have proof. I have the documents declassified.
That's funny. All right. Well, anything else?
No. Is there your inspiration for UFO? Are you going to look into a book or a movie or something?
I don't know. Are you
just going to go down some more?
I'm just going to
go some more Joe Rogan.
I'm just going to spend some time laying on the ground out here on the compound and just lay there and look up in the sky and see if anything comes down and says hi.
Yeah, on that point. The other day, I'm walking my son. He's, I walk him in a stroll around the neighborhood.
Got him on the leash.
Yes. And, at night, I look up, I check out the skies every night. And by the way, we had a big alignment of like a bunch of planets the other morning. I was up at 4:00 because Keizo was up at 1:50 a.m. and he did not go back to sleep till 5. So my last ditch effort was, hey, I got to walk him. So I was outside at like 4:30 in the morning and the planets were all lined up. It was very interesting, very beautiful. But a different night, I'm walking, I look up and I see a light moving in the sky and just moving in one direction. And there was a lot of heavy clouds, but it was under the clouds. And usually that's an airplane, right? But this one was smaller than an airplane and it was moving very fast and it didn't have the flashing lights. That's the big giveaway for me. If it's an airplane or helicopter, there's usually like flashing lights or the red, blue lights that are flashing. Hang on one second. I'm going to finish the story. Don't cover your one eye like that. What are you doing?
Illuminati, baby.
Illuminati confirmed, baby. So I'm looking, and so I saw the light moving, and I pulled out my phone real quick and got the camera because I just want to at least get it on film. Pull the camera, literally like 2 seconds. Phone, camera, up, gone. Light's gone. I sat there for a few minutes and thought, did it go in the clouds? Was it still moving? Because if it was an airplane or something, then you can, keep track of it. But no, I was up. I stared at the sky for about 5 minutes. Neighbors probably thought I was crazy. But yeah, it was completely gone. So, they're flying some stuff up there that we don't know about. And I think they're becoming more and more bold, as it were.
Getting ready to unveil the secret baby.
Secret baby. Yeah. All right. I think the daughter needs attention. Is there more? Uh-oh. I lost Basil completely. Did I hang up on him? Oh no. You just fell away.
Did I do that? Who did that? All right. I think it's time to end this show.
Yeah, your connection's bad. It's real bad. I don't know what's happening in the chat. I'm not seeing anything. People are complaining about some spamming, but I don't see any in there.
What are you looking for in the chat?
The people saying go away to the spammy people, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, let's end the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. That will be, Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Try to stay sane. Keep looking up. Perhaps, so many crazy, unthinkable things have been happening in the past few years that perhaps it is not as unthinkable as we expected for the disclosure to begin. Perhaps the time is right. Who knows? But we'll be keeping an eye on it for you. But we got a few more people to thank. First of all, I do want to thank our executive producers, because without them, this would be so much more difficult to do. We've got executive producer David W., AG.AW, and executive producer Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers, and of course, our anonymous executive producer from earlier this month. And of course, to the rest of the producers, the artists, everyone making the show happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you, dear listener, would like to help produce the show, you can do so by heading on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. But we also have another group of producers producing with their time. They are dedicated. They are hardworking. And there's so much that we would not be able to do without them. And we want to thank them now, starting with our Clippies.
Flippy. Clipping all those videos.
Thanks, Emsworth and Faye Liverin, for clipping out the show as well as managing the Canary Cry Clips YouTube and Odyssey channel. Please, all thine who hear my voice, go subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips channel. We're so close to getting that 1,000 subscribers, and you'll enjoy it. You won't regret it, I can tell you that much. Also, thank you to our timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. Timestamps go into so much of our back-end processes and saves us literally hours for our timestampers to be helping us out with that. They watch the show, sometimes live, sometimes not, and they timestamp the whole thing, and we're very grateful. And you should be too, dear listener. And so thank you to our timestamper from Wednesday, which was... I don't know. Who was it?
Jade Bouncerson.
Jade Bouncerson. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson, for your timestamp devotion. Thank you as well to our social media gal, Dame Miss G of the OV and the Deep Rivers, for helping us with the social media posts. And make sure to go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetups.
You know the drill, folks. Go to canarycrymeetups.com, and if you are near Knoxville, Houston, Galveston, Ozark, Branson, Garland, Texas, all these places, there are meetups going on, and you should go to them. Go to canarycrymeetups.com to check if there's one near you. And you know what? Even if you have to drive an hour or 2 or 3, I mean, come on. We've had people drive 7 to 9 hours for these meetups, and nobody's complained yet. It's a good time. You should meet other Canarians. It's a very special group. Go check it out, canarycrymeetups.com. If there's not one near you, put one on yourself. That's right. Send us an email. We'll be happy to share it with the world. We'll see you at the meetup.
This is fun.
Bing, bong, boom. That's right. Go leave us ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts, por favor. We need it. These ratings and reviews, they go a long way to keep help spread or anything like that. I don't know, man. You get the point. When you leave ratings and reviews, it's not just about your rating and review, but it's also about those robots, those algos that go share the rating and a review. No, they share the show is what they do with people unsuspecting victims on the internet. It's something we cannot do for ourselves. We must rely on you producers to leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. Please do it. It'll make me so sad if we get to Friday and we only have one rating and review this week.
It is Friday, and we only have one.
The angels. Oh my gosh, it is Friday right now, and we didn't read the. We only have one rating and review. Yeah. So
you want to read it?
No woo for you, and I'm gonna read this one next week, or should I read it right now? No, we already read this one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. I think you're right.
I think.
No, because it says on the 6th, and 6th was a Saturday.
I have a very specific memory of reading this out loud. Did I just read it out loud to myself?
Out loud. Yeah.
Wow. Do you know, folks, you go off grid, Your best friends are emus. It's hot. You sit in a very hot box with a VR headset on your head all day. You start to lose it a little bit. I'm going to read this one right now.
Okay.
Because we're starting fresh next week, baby. One rating and review. So everybody, you're all in the doghouse, except for Chad the Chad, who left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. He's from the United States of America. 5 stars. Do you have any background? You got a pad, like a mysterious pad, perhaps?
I don't know if I can pull up mysterious pad so quickly. But
I was going to say, we could just do the microfiction pad, but it's a little bit high energy for what I want to do here.
Hold on, let me see if there's a...
Don't worry, folks. Chad the Chad was the one human being on this planet out of the thousands and thousands and thousands and so many more thousands of listeners of this show who bothered to leave a rating and a review this week. And so now I read it to you. Imagine, if you will, 5 stars. It's nearly dusk in sub-Saharan Africa. You tell your co-pilot Chuck to take the controls as you aggressively yank the Apache's door wide open. Grasping the rail, you extend your body into the hurricane force winds and hail. Despite the rain and the sweat building up on your flight goggles, you can still make out the glowing embers of the angry maw dwarfing you from below. It could blow at any moment. The only chance to save an entire species of unladen swallows rests in your hands. There's only one problem. The device that has to be detonated no more than 10 meters above the spitting orifice looming beneath you. For the first time in your life, despite years of training and combat, you feel an uneasy knot in your stomach. So this is fear. You manage to compose a short prayer, straighten your shoulders, and turning back towards the cabin, yell, "Chuck, take us down." This podcast is both exactly and nothing at all like this harrowing tale. However, it is guaranteed to sizzle your thought maker in Basil and Gonza's fringe topic frying pan of world affairs. Give it a listen and you too will be rattling cages in Antarctica in no time. Hope you've all enjoyed this obnoxious review and have a blessed day. Thank you very much, Chad the Chad. I actually very much enjoyed it. And I want to know where I can hear more. So, Chad the Chad, perhaps, this is a fun idea. So, Chad the Chad started the story here. What if we do like a crowd-sourced
review
novel?
Yeah, the next
in
person,
the review section.
Yeah, the next person has to continue the story.
So, read the story, get the vibe. You know, there's some sort of mysterious maw glowing with embers in Africa, and we got to get the device down there and detonate it 10 feet above or whatever. It's very intense. Somebody else needs to jump on Apple Podcasts and go ahead and continue the story. There we go. That might be the new thing. It might be. It might also not be. So it's up to you, folks. Is this review gimmick sticky enough to get y'all to leave reviews? Well, let us know what you think in the review section at Apple Podcasts.
It's definitely going to take more time. You know, the whole thing with reviews is, hey, it won't take any of your time.
Yeah, well, nobody's leaving reviews. Maybe they want to spend time.
Sure.
You know, maybe the fact that it only takes 2 minutes to leave a rating and review is making them think it's not very important. So this is different. Go read this review from Chad the Chad and continue the story in the reviews section of Apple Podcasts. Every Apple device has Apple Podcasts. It's a little purple icon. I don't even know why I need to tell you this. There are just an enormous amount of you who listen to the show on Apple Podcasts. So just in case you don't know how you got here, it's a little purple icon. Search for Canary Cry News Talk and leave a rating and a review. Thank you very much. And if we do have a few more entries in this story by next Friday, you'll make me go ooh woo.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to play that. I thought you gave the whole thing.
You're right. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You're right. I was being a softie. Okay. Punishment maintains. Thank you, Guns. All right. Thank you, Jam, for the articles and the links that you sent us. Thanks to everybody who sends articles and links. Love it. And other than that, just share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with the gaping maw of glowing embers in sub-Saharan Africa that is threatening, I think, the swallow population. Or maybe it was going to swallow the population. I'm going to have to read the story again. But share the show with everybody. A great way to do that is to, send a letter to Congress and let them know. You can share the clips on the Canary Cried Clips channel. And some of you are a little bit more, maybe you're a little bit more unique. Maybe you are, again, an eccentric billionaire. And as I mentioned during this whole Trump story, every eccentric billionaire has a safe, and every eccentric billionaire's safe is filled with contraband and illegal things. That is why a billionaire would have a safe. So if you're an eccentric billionaire, here's what you do. Get a safe. Don't put anything in there yet. Just get a safe. The safe is locked. I'll reveal what's in the safe at the end of it. But then you kind of go on TV. Maybe you run for president. Maybe become president. Maybe do some questionable things throughout your entire life. That doesn't seem like it would be a very difficult thing to do for you. That's pretty much the only way you can become a billionaire, unless you were born into it, in which case your father or mother probably did some pretty questionable things. But either way, go ahead and get just as much possible media attention and ire and resentment from the political elites as possible, and just continue doing that for about 20, 25, 30 years, ultimately culminating in this sort of lunatic sort of psychotic break within the upper echelons of the U.S. government, in which the lines between right and wrong, illegal and legal, and normal and abnormal, and revenge and simply the law, that those lines begin to blur, and people no longer understand why they do anything or whom they do it for. And once that sets in, all you really need to do is wait, and maybe drop a hint or two, like on the media, like when you go on maybe a podcast or like a news outlet, and just be like, yeah, I'm a billionaire. I have safes. Don't look at my safes. Whatever you do, you can do anything you want. Just don't look in my very cool billionaire safe. And then undoubtedly somebody just going to get a little froggy in the intelligence community there, and boom, there'll be some sort of secret quote unquote raid on your home with a perfectly legal explanation. And then they're going to see the safe and they will not be able to help themselves. They're going to get their expert intelligence agency safe crackers in there, and he's going to get all frustrated and sweaty trying to open your safe. Then they're going to get a robot to come in and maybe just tear the door right off its hinges, baby. And now they've made it into the safe. They're there to grab the one thing they came for, the thing that everybody wants to see, the secret safe thing. And what's that? They reach in. It looks empty except for a single piece of paper. Ooh, what could be on this piece of paper that would be worth all of this trouble by the world's most powerful powerful government, and the man who's been hunting you for so long. He's some sort of FBI agent. He's got a big mustache, and he's grumpy, but he's got sort of a reputation for doing things by the books, and he's finally got you. He reaches in, he picks up the piece of paper, and what does it say on that piece of paper? It says, "Think outside the cage." And then that becomes a matter of national security. And suddenly that will, it only takes a simple Google search of that mysterious phrase to bring people to this podcast. And suddenly, probably regrettably, we'll be wrapped up in whatever sort of smoky backroom war between elites is going on. And this actually sounds like it's going to be a big pain in my butt, but I'll probably be gone by then. No, not dead, but simply hiding all the way underground as deep as I can go. But Gons might still be here. He has children. So that's one way you can do it. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it any way you want. But you should know, we like to call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Any last words, Gons?
Oh, I'm still here, by the way.
You're here.
Monday, 1971. Dollar taken off the gold standard. Anniversary on Monday's show. Yeah.
We should celebrate on Monday.
Thanks, government, for taking the dollar off the gold standard.
Getting rid of that pesky gold standard. Yeah. That was really getting in the way of my fiat obsession. Yeah. All right, everybody. We will be back on Monday celebrating the death of the gold standard, and we hope you come celebrate with us. So thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until then, think outside the cage.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Kill.
Give me a break. Pay them more.
Better wrap it up.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
And a resounding paka flies through the air across the world. Why are you screaming like a wild bird?
Rattle their cage. They have a lot of people screaming randomly. Why don't you shout? It'll be their call out. They have a lot of people screaming randomly.
Go ahead and...
Why don't you shout?
Why are you screaming like a wild bird? You little rascal. I am so hot.
You're so hot.
I'm... Gons. I am so hot. So hot.
Spread the clouds across the sky.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.